Buckle up, you bastards. You're about to listen to another episode of Very Late with Black Brainz and Sad God Zuki. Get ready for uninformed opinions about video games, hood politics, and rambling tangents.
This one's a certified mask world classic.
Ride around K on me, ride around a hose on me, Betterman shirt on me, Betterman some on fleek. Hop in the lamb, my shawty be jumping on me. Yeah, she on her knees, yeah, she got me all the, I got the cheese. Yeah, I got what you need, more like what you want. No, I got haters out here. Yeah, let them hate, they just wanna be me. Never met a hater who wasn't insane. Never met a hater who wasn't a fucking lame.
Got a new truck, it's AMG. You're so boring, think it out to be. I be riding in an AUD. Yeah, she sucked me up in that good hoodie. And I jump it out inside her clothes. Got my weed cat to press the hose. I won't even play Pokemon like that. I won't even play Pokemon like that.
Sucking the cash, yeah, like Scarface. Yeah, when I see it up, I shoot him in his face. Got a clan, got a gang like FaZe. I don't fuck with him, but I make money like Andrew Tate. Yeah, she's so random, she might run XD on me. She was too addicted to Molly, introduce her to lean. Yeah, I'm in a Lambo, used to be driving that Jeep. Shadow 300, Shadow Chief Keef.
Got a new truck, it's AMG. You're so boring, think it out to be. I be riding in that AUD. Yeah, she sucked me up in that good hoodie. And I jump it out inside her clothes. Got my weed cat.
And we back, young Zuki. What's good,
What's
man?
up, bro?
How-
It's good.
What you been up to? How you feeling?
Working, playing video game. Cyberpunk is actually playable
No.
again.
No.
Yeah. So I looked at Starfield and I threw it away in the trash and got back on Cyberpunk.
You just fucking pulled the Toy Story Andy, just tossed that shit. I was like, I don't want to fucking... Man, fuck this cowboy, man. Well,
Yeah, just
that's a miracle. Thank you, CD Projekt Red, I guess.
Yeah.
But we're not going to delay this too long. We already got him on the goddamn table. Dumbsville is here
Yeah.
with us. Dumbsville,
Yeah,
What's good? What's good?
How you
What's
doing,
good?
man? Thank you for joining
I'm
us.
doing good. I'm doing good. I'm overworked, depressed, single, and I'm better than ever. Let's
Nice.
go.
Nice. Dumbsville Rebirth arc.
Rebirth. I'm being born again.
Hell
Like
yeah.
Kanye West.
You gotta end one of your videos where you get like the Donda like airlift out of the house.
I gotta like put on like the masks he always wears,
Yeah.
the one with the glitter on it. The one with, like,
Those
the
miracles
thing.
on me.
I gotta do the Yeezus tour
Yeah.
one. What was that
The
one?
Margiela
With
mask.
the mirrors?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah, the Margiela. Yeah.
That shit was
I gotta do
dope.
that one.
That's when he didn't believe in God. That's when he was like, I love sex and fashion. That was a good era where he's like, fuck God, I like pussy.
That's gonna be me. Honestly, I'm gonna fall out of it. Then I'm gonna go back into it,
Yeah.
and then that's just gonna be it.
This is gonna be
It's gonna
hard.
Yo,
It's gonna be so hard. It's gonna be the unredemption re-redemption arc. It's gonna be what it is.
yeah, you just gotta start walking around with like a Swedish architect with like a face mask on for a year. It's like, man,
Dude,
the
I would walk
Dumbsville
around.
rollout's crazy.
Hey, I'm weak because I just thought about like, well, hasn't no one made a comparison of Kanye West and Char from Gundam? Same guy.
The same
Think
guy.
about it.
Same guy. I mean, Kanye didn't try
Literally
and
me.
genocide people, but you know, same guy.
Not yet.
Soon.
True. He didn't try to genocide people. He loves everyone.
Yeah.
He just hates those people.
Yeah, he loves everyone except for a certain group of people.
Well, he did until he watched the amazing diversity masterpiece 21 Jump Street.
Jump
Yeah.
Street with Jonah Hill.
Exactly.
Man.
That's when he learned about the love of the Jewish race.
Jonah should have negotiated a writing credit. Like he should have called him up immediately and went like,
He should
He
have
said like I
that
need a
would've been
credit on that album.
that would have honestly, he should have invited him. He should have invited him to like a get together. Like honestly, that would have been great. Best
Yeah.
best way to convert someone away from anti-Semitism is to show them the love of your people.
You got like,
and there is no better love than watching Uncut Gems on a Friday
you
night.
got like the whiteboard where he's got all the tracks and
Well-
features, and he's got like a fucking Phil Lord, Chris Miller,
Oh yeah.
Jonah Hill.
Listen, Kanye, there's a reason why you shouldn't hate us. There's me. We made so many good movies, Kanye. We run Hollywood, like the South Park episode said, even though a lot of people run Hollywood.
Yeah. He'd be like, and don't look at that movie I made called You People. Don't look at it. Don't do it. I'm sorry.
That was a mistake.
He's gotta show him the fucking South Park episode, the one where he's like, everyone runs Hollywood, dipshit. That's what he should do.
Man.
Everyone's Hollywood dipshit. Then Kanye will be like, "Oh, now I get it. I'm just a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
I get it."
I actually had some questions about Ye because we immediately just jumped into talking about Con the Louis Vuitton Don.
No, not even about my videos yet. I love this already. This is great.
Yeah, none of us are trying to talk about that.
Yeah. Who cares about that? Nobody wants that.
No, we don't want to hear about that. We
All
want
right.
to talk about Kanye.
Real talk. Do
Exactly.
you think Kanye can actually see redemption as an artist? You know, do you think his legacy will remain, or is he beyond redemption?
Kanye is like so complicated. That's the thing. That's actually a really, really good question. Like, obviously, I'm not Kanye, so I'm not the general general public or anything. So I obviously can only speak on from me. But that's I think like what people need to understand about Kanye is he is simultaneously like he thinks very deeply about a lot, even though like a lot of it is like, good and bad, some of it is like fucking hateful shit.
Right.
And some of it is hateful shit, but he does try and think deeply about a lot of things. At the same time, he's also kind of like he's kind of also like a 7-year-old in a 40-year-old's body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like he's kind of like it's I think he can, if people understand that he kind of says things from like a place where he can be easily manipulated, and he's kind of his own like downfall.
Yeah, I talked to Zuki about this very thing, and like I think he's a very naive person.
Yeah.
And like he's a fairly well-meaning person who says some hilariously head-ass things from a very uninformed place. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna win any awards for this, but the Alex Jones shit is genuinely like that in itself is indefensible.
Yeah.
Absolutely deplorable to say. Like I'm not gonna win any awards for that. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, you're like the best person. I don't. It's like
Yeah, he's
no.
yeah.
Shit.
That
No
guy
shit's deplorable.
said Hitler was dope, man.
yeah. It's like
there's no gray area.
I think that Hitler guy. Once you think about it, that guy was a real kind of mean.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a meanie head.
No, I got
a jerk.
I got that part too, because it's like, but if you also think about the out of pocket stuff he said
Right.
before he said the Hitler stuff, him saying something like this wasn't that big of a surprise to me. Like, man, he been saying out of pocket stuff for eons. Like,
Yeah.
he
Exactly.
said it about other people that people didn't like at the time.
Man, that's like
He said now.
the thing about him that's frustrating is like he's shockingly endearing a lot of the time when he says this horrible stuff too. Like there was that one interview where he's going like, I was talking to a doctor. I'm not gonna say what kind of doctor. It's like and
he goes like, it was a Jewish doctor.
and he just immediately like folds and goes, it was Jewish doctor. Yeah. It's like this
Jesus Christ.
This guy like can't be this anti-Semitic and also like this hilarious at the same time. It's not right.
I think he is like he was like also manipulated by people. In a circle,
like with Candace Owens and stuff. Yeah,
because knowing Kanye, like, and knowing like bigger corporations and whatnot, there are genuinely like and obviously nothing to do with race or like whether someone's Jewish or not. That's kind of fucking dumb to do that. Kind of fucking hateful to do that. But there are people that are in big corporations that are bad people. Like, no shit.
Absolutely.
There are people that are awful people that are like fence sitters and that will like and obviously like a lot of pressure that comes from a lot of people ganging up on you, like societally, if that's a word. That does take a toll on you. That really does. Like one day of getting called out on Twitter will teach you that when people are dogging on you, it's fucking stressful.
Right.
And it kind of puts you into like your own corner. So I think Kanye, I will say, is a victim of one thing. And I don't want to say it's kind of silly to say it's cancel culture, but he's kind of been a sort of victim of that for decades.
Yeah, he's very easy to vilify.
Yeah, he's very easy to vilify. So I think seeing that he does tend to go into his own corner of self kind of appraisal, because he said himself, a lot of his confidence comes from a reaction to insecurity or a reaction to
I think that's what like gravitates a lot of people to music, and I'm sure Zuki will agree with that.
And to Kanye too. What's so polarizing about him is also what's so alluring.
Exactly. Like when you think of like, I had a few examples written down of like guys like, David Bowie, John Lennon, David Byrne from the Talking Heads, Tom York. Like these are all eccentric guys, but they're also like very magnetic people in their own way. Probably because 3 of those guys have autism and one of them's a wife beater. But but beyond that,
wait, does Tom York have autism or he beat his wife? I didn't know this.
Tom York is more autistic than he is wife beaty. John Lennon beat the living shit out of his wife.
I was gonna say there's something I don't know about Tom York. He's one of us. Yes.
Have you listened to Radiohead? It's like you can tell.
I knew he was depressed, but I didn't know he was autistic. But I'll write that down in the autistic.
The autism primer, yeah.
As one of the spokespeople for autism, very obviously, I speak on behalf of every single autistic people ever made. As someone who's a spokesperson, I'll write this down in the book.
You're an autism ambassador,
the big autism ambassadors. I think like when I started doing the film reviews, I think one of the big goals I set, and this aged like milk, one of the big goals I had that I wrote down was become the Kanye West of autism.
God damn.
Oh, dog. I wouldn't admit that with a gun to my head. I ain't gonna lie. Because think about it though, because like Kanye West is famous not only because he's a controversial person, but he changed the image of rap forever.
Absolutely,
before,
he did.
A rapper had to be a dude wearing white tees and like talking about hoes and like beating up people,
getting shot or shooting people.
Not being emotional. He was the first emotional rapper. So like for me and Brainz, we just look up like, man, Kanye.
Absolutely. I feel like there is rap that was emotional beforehand, especially with like, Tupac and Biggie. There was definitely people that experimented heavily with it. And showed it more. But Kanye was the one that deconstructed the masculinity, because even with like Tupac and Biggie, they still came from pretty masculine.
Well, places. Like Biggie's interesting because he talked about like suicidal ideations and like depression and stuff. But he talked about it from the lens of someone in like street culture, right?
And then Ghetto Boys.
Ghetto Boys.
Group, like them dudes talking about offering themselves for all the street shit they did for like 20 years before people even started to get tapped in.
Or like Scarface from Ghetto Boys. Like it's like you're absolutely right, Dums. Like it existed prior to Ye, but I think Ye was like kind of the person who like made it very
sensitive.
He was more sensitive. He was more like relatable as like just a young man rather than like
He didn't talk about street culture nearly as much. Like it's kind of weird seeing where he came from. It's almost identifiable in a way, because like he wasn't really like
he wasn't from
much.
He wasn't from
he wasn't. I know he's like from like Chicago, like kind of lower end Chicago, but he was still like. He wasn't from the gang culture. He was still like a pretty it was still a pretty like his mom was a fucking like
His mom's
she
a
was
professor, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. His mom's a professor.
Yeah.
And
he was like an
and-
art student prior to dropping
yeah,
out.
he was like an art. Yeah, he was an art student before dropping out. Like his mom like was like, it's kind of relatable because I grew up in northeastern Ohio, so a lot of I had I had a very diverse group of people just in my neighborhood alone.
Right.
I grew up in like suburban area, but right down my street was some friends of mine who is like a black family. The dad was a firefighter. I forget what the mom was, but they were people that I carpooled with to high school, and so Kanye is someone that I kind of am familiar with, sort of like the area, kind of the societal area he grew up in. So and it's almost identifiable, seeing someone from that end where talking about his own struggles too, and it's he definitely made it a lot more sensitive too. I feel like 808 is the best example.
Yeah,
because 808 is talking about like heartbreak and
he's like at a very like low point in his life when he made that record too, where like he was in like flux as a person, right? But like like he did that, and it kind of precipitated the wave of a lot of artists like Drake, obviously, Kid Cudi, like the whole modern generation, Uzi, Juice WRLD, to a lesser extent, Carti, X, like so 808s was kind of like the blueprint for a lot of what we see now in rap.
Exactly. Definitely. It's funny that Kanye, I don't know if that was the first one, but it was definitely the big impactful one to really like show off.
It's funny too, because that album was like very divisive upon release. Like
people hated OGs hated
that shit. They went like, what's Kanye West doing, man? Where the beats?
Exactly.
It was like it was just like total backlash from like people who are like expecting more like Chipmunk Soul and those kind of drums.
They're expecting like Good Ass Day.
Exactly.
So exactly. It's like, but I think it is inspiring because Kanye was so like different. Even then, it's almost like he was someone that was weirdly enough alienated from his own genre at the time.
Which that's what made him the greatest.
Yeah, exactly. And that's interesting because he wasn't part of like like you guys said, like he wasn't part of like the street culture or anything. He was like just kind of a guy. In a way, definitely confident, and he's definitely fucking confident. But he's someone who I think he had more of an opportunity to be more sensitive, and I think that shows off in his music.
Did you ever watch? I forget if you did, Zuki. Did you ever watch the Netflix Kanye documentary?
I did. I watched that with. I watched the first episode in theaters with my mom.
Damn.
I took her to see it. I forced her.
Oh, that's hard.
I mean that documentary is a very good way to like get people who don't like him to realize who he was.
Exactly. But that's what I was thinking of. I was thinking that documentary the whole time. A lot of footage from that. I love that.
There's that one scene where he's like in the Rockefeller like the building or whatever. He's in like Def Jam on the Rockefeller floor, and he's playing he's playing like hits. He's playing like some of the best songs he's ever made. And like this bitch is like checking her phone and not like ignoring him while he's like playing All Falls Down and like Through the Wire. It's like songs that we all know are gonna be some of the biggest songs ever.
Exactly.
I know.
And they're just not getting it.
And they don't it does not click with them.
But to be fair, he was new and back and at that point they like,
and he was
you don't
he
look
was
like
he was a beat dude at that point, right? Like Hove and all of them were just like, just make more beats, man.
People didn't see the vision yet.
That's like, nah, you can make beats, but being the face, you ain't hard enough to be the face of anything. But you make your beats though.
Exactly. It was like, it's kind of where I think like Pierre, for example, is now, where it's like he's kind of like the beat guy, right?
Like I was talking to a friend of ours who was on the show previously about Pierre, where like his style of production is so innovative and interesting, and like many people like look at Pierre and go like, oh, he's doing himself a disservice by focusing on his shit. But like any person who makes music and wants to sing or rap or whatever, you're just compelled to. You can't turn that off. You know, you can't just like go,
Exactly.
oh, I'm not gonna make music because it's gonna make me less money. He believes in what he's making. And and it's like, yeah, he got some of the biggest placements in the world at one point where he's working with Carti, Uzi, Drake, Kanye. You know, the list goes on of people who've gotten Pierre beats. But he was like, nah, I want to focus on like my people, my music. And and people treat him like he's a jackass for doing that when it's like he just loves making his own shit.
Yeah.
I'm kind of mixed on a lot of the post T-Lop 5 works that he's done.
Yeah.
When it comes to like
Like
actual
good
quality.
movie and like Grails and shit.
Yeah. I think both are like kind of they're whatever. But I think like Pierre, I think the big thing that he needs to do, like I think he shouldn't worry about like whether or not he's going to be relevant or not. I think he should focus more on just making a more personal project. That's more. He should push himself because I feel like he's kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
With Kanye, like again with Kanye, like if you think first 3 albums were always like a push. I feel like T-Lop 5 is Pierre's graduation moment. I feel like where it's not like as impactful, but it's kind of that moment where he finally like he hones in on that kind of celebration kind of style, kind of like celebration.
Like he's like, I figured it out for me now, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. So what he's got to do like Kanye or even like fucking Carti did, where it's like he's got to just go completely fucking left field, go fuck all of you. I'm gonna do something weird and different.
Yeah, I kind of want to see like him find a new wave because I think like you're right. He kind of, I don't want to say he sleepwalks, but I think he has a formula that he relies quite heavily on.
Yeah. The Pierre formula itself is kind of going out of phase for like whatever filth he's doing.
Yeah,
and who knows where filthy will go after that.
Yeah, there are always going to be people younger and arguably better than you. So you have to diversify as a producer or an artist for sure.
Because they got your building blocks they're building off of. They're like, you did this at this age. What if I did this? Because they always got some blueprint to go off of. Because I think I like what Lil Yachty did with his new sound. I like the new Lil Yachty sound. I think he did amazing going into whatever he wanted to do.
Okay, like even
that's a good example.
Even off of like Let's Start Here, like that's a fucking good ass record. Like it's still in rotation.
An album that like has like a vision to it and shit. Yeah,
but like then the Lucy's he put out, like trying different styles. The newest one with J. Cole, where he was rapping on like a Earl Sweatshirt Griselda kind of beat, like the kind of thing he'd never rap on, and he was rapping weird pockets. Like I know people didn't fuck with him even trying to be lyrical, but like the fact that Lil Yachty's even doing that style of rap now is crazy.
And it's on a minor project too as well.
Yeah.
It's like so different and weird.
Yeah.
And that's why I think makes an artist and keeps them like relevant and keeps them in rotation when you got something to talk about, you know? I think of like a lot of artists that are in my rotation, and most of them like they have something to like talk about. They have like a weird like style or a weird project that like goes beyond what they're doing. And that's what I think. I think like when you have a project that kind of pushes you forward, that's what you kind of always got to do. And I make music myself, right? You kind of know about that, but I make music myself. And that's what I kind of try and do, not to like, you know, be super in depth about like, you know, not to my own horn, I mean, but what I do and what you know, I'm saying I relate to it. You always want to try and make a project that feels like it's pushing yourself and your style, but also like saying something too. It's like making like a movie or making a book or anything.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's like a worrying amount of artists that kind of just, it's a worrying amount of artists I feel like that kind of just make albums that feel like a collection of like just singles.
Right.
And it's like you can do a bit more.
Like you just go like, all right, I need 10 tracks. I don't need any cohesion. I just need 10 to 12 songs.
Like, I need to make this album like 20 songs long, make it this and that, and none of the songs are memorable at all. Like I think one artist that frustrates me is fucking Trippie Redd when it comes to
he has like one good song, then the rest you be like, all right, skip.
fucking
the thing that's frustrating about Trippie is like there are so many moments where you're like, wow, this guy could be really good. If he just like took the time to like pare down his records or kind of figure out a cohesive sound for himself.
Exactly. Like fucking I've argued with the Sonic Show, that channel, Jaden, great friend of mine. I fucking love that guy. But we'll argue. I've argued with him over this. Like his last two records, Mansion Music and Love Letter to You 5. Jaden loves Mansion Music. I thought that record was like 5 out of 10. Like it was like whatever.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of kind of bloated, like a feature every track. Like
a lot of the songs just like blend together. They don't feel like they really go nearly as hard as they should. It's like whatever. And then like Love Letter to You 5 just feels like another like indie pop Black Bear type of thing. And it's like just fucking Trippy needs to do something like more experimental.
Well, yeah, the crazy thing is like he was like a pioneer of that wave too.
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't experiment with it. He's done the same thing.
Yeah, now he's sounding like the guys he inspired.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. It's like you sounded like a clone of the people you made. Like,
exactly.
What's going on here?
Sounds like another like Lil Skies or Black Bear, and a lot of those people kind of like or Lil Lotus. And all those people don't have the same staying power as they used to back in the underground in like 2017.
Well, yeah, fucking like
the SoundCloud era.
That shit runs like that shit moves so goddamn fast now too. Like you really have to provide something beyond just I put out music semi-regularly now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot of emo rap artists now have either fallen off completely or have like transitioned over to like a pop punk sound, like kind of more watered down pop punk indie sound. And it's like, man, I wish they had that rawness of like early Lil Peep or like 17 by X again.
Yeah, like where you could hear the artist had something to say. Yeah.
You can. Yeah, I love that like weird, like raw shit. That's what appeals to me about a lot of just like about the emo rap genre.
Right.
And that's what appeals to me now with shit like Midwest emo, where it's like a lot of my favorite like emo tracks in general are just like stuff that sounds raw. Even like punk too. Like my favorite like punk shit is like stuff that sounds like it was recorded in like someone's garage. Just shit that's like just raw and experimental. And even with like, what'd you say?
I said I got you on that, the raw stuff. With my punk.
Exactly. Shit like a Minor Threat and whatnot. And like I grew up on like a lot of raw shit. Like in high school, my favorite band, and my favorite band still, is Death Grips. And they were a band that even as they got popular, they were still weird and out there and crazy. That's why I love it's just like weird raw shit, but it's like it comes from a real place, It's not for everyone, but it definitely is for someone, kind of thing.
Right.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, I think Death Grips like used their popularity very effectively, where they used it to kind of just inform their material rather than like try and get more polished or something. Instead, they went like, let's kind of focus on the scope of our vision. Rather than like getting a bigger studio or working with Rick Rubin or something now that we're bigger.
They're like the ultimate definition. They're kind of like, to me, like Death Grips is kind of the ultimate, like they're probably like, and this might be a bit controversial to say, but I feel like Death Grips is the most punk band like of all time. Or at the very least, like they kept it alive in the 2010s.
All those UK punkers are gonna kick down our fucking door. Oi, mate!
Oh, mate! Oh, mate! What you say about?
What you say about punk, mate?
I want Sex Pistols playing a bathroom in 1984.
We were doing cocaine and rocking. You wouldn't know about.
Well, you know what? As someone who is friends with people from the punk scene, apparently Sex Pistols is not fucked with, actually.
No, they are not.
No.
They are not.
Yeah, fuck Sex Pistols. Based. You see, I need to make sure you guys were based. Fuck the Sex Pistols. Fuck the Sex Pistols. Fuck the Sex Pistols.
I remember I think was this recorded Brainz where you was telling me that the main dude, MC Ryan, was not Death Grips. I'm like, isn't Death Grips just one nigga?
Yo, yeah. So Zuki didn't know that they were a group. He thought that MC Ride was Death Grips.
I thought the man name was Death Grip.
And that Death Grips wasn't
He is-
3 people.
He's a death grip.
He is a Death Grip. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's one of the grips who work on death.
I am death grip.
Yeah.
yeah, because I remember I just looked on the internet like Death Grips. Why are these people talking about this? And I keep seeing this picture of this dude. I'm like, is this Death Grips? And I just didn't look into it. I didn't realize that they were alternative rap hip hop group. I just thought like it's a guy called Death Grips.
I thought
people.
it's funny because like I'm a big noider. I'm a big noider. A big gripper.
You've been known to
I got the
noid.
grip.
Yeah, you're third.
I got the grip. I got that
third
tight
worlds.
grip.
Yeah, man.
Fuck yeah, third worlds. Yeah, but Zach. It's funny because like Zach Hill is like the most vocal, and he's the fucking drummer, and that's mostly because Zach Hill is a pioneer in his own regard. So.
Oh yeah, well Zach's drummed for like tons of other bands. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's a pioneer in math rock and like experimental hip hop. Like he's like a fucking he's my favorite drummer like ever. But he's like a pioneer in his own right. But a lot of the Death Grips interviews, there's only one where MC Ride's actually talking, and it's like the most shyest like talking.
Have you seen his like really early stuff, like his pre-Death Grip stuff?
Mixoplex. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, definitely a lot more calmer.
Yeah, where he's a lot more like an experimental or like an esoteric like underground rapper, like
conscious.
Yeah, kind of like kind of like Bus Driver, like Earl Sweatshirt, like that. That was kind of his vibe. Then he had dreads too, which was fucking weird.
I said that. Yeah, he has like. It's so weird seeing younger MC Ride with dreads, like a more. Like,
wait, he
had dreads. Yeah, he had like shoulder length.
Yeah, when he was like Mixoplex. Yeah.
Oh, he had like the bus drivers back in the day.
Yeah, and like it was crazy seeing that guy wear a shirt.
Like, I'm about to say because he wears a shirt.
Yeah, he was wearing a tall tee too. It was like crazy seeing him like looking like a rapper.
The 2004 tall tees, they need to bring them back.
Facts.
Biggest with me, the autistic Death Grips fan who goes deep into it. It's honestly not that out of place, like seeing MC Ride in like a little like cute little gray t-shirt. Like it's like like he's just wearing nothing. I was at Sick New World and I went to see Death Grips and it was great. I was like way back. I was like nerding the fuck out seeing just MC Ride, big black man, beard, just in like a little gray t-shirt and pants. Like, oh my god, because it's crazy. Because like at Sick New World, it's like mostly like
it's like
right?
It's like alternative new metal.
Yeah. So you got a lot of like goth people and shit. The one person I'm excited for is just some like dude in a gray t-shirt who looks like he like works on your car. It's funny. Honestly though, hardest though. It was the hardest because they're like.
Oh yeah, I have a friend who went to go see. It was when Death Grips was touring with Ministry like a couple of years back.
Oh fuck yeah! I saw Ministry too. They were.
Yeah, he told me that when the lights went down, he got punched in the gut, and that was like the start of the set when somebody hit him like immediately, and it was just the hardest fucking mosh pit he's ever been in. It was stay noited, man.
But it's good actually being able to talk to you because like I followed you on Twitter.
Who are you on Twitter, by the way? Let me follow you back.
I'm Sad God Zuki.
Sad God Zuki. Sad God Zuki. Let me see.
It should say like I follow.
Let me copy the Discord.
No.
Is that your like at or
Yeah. Hold on. Damn it, I forgot about this.
All right, I see you now. I'll follow you back. Yeah. There we go. Got you. I got you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Nah, because you know, like I be on those, be seeing what you be getting on Russell. I'm like, dang, Russell. I'm like, that's straight, bro. I wouldn't go for that, bro. We taught you better than that.
You joined the Russell hating cult. Welcome to the Russell cult.
Nah, me and B Fox 15, we pretty cool. He's cool.
Hell yeah! If you don't bully him though, you're not really like Russell's friend. You gotta like.
We're too nice to him. Now we occasionally bully him. Like we
bully him for being a Zoomer.
Yeah, but and for being a brony, and for smelling.
Yeah, and for being.
And we made that fucked up chair he had. We made fun of that a lot when he had that camping stool.
We did too.
What the fuck? No, it was that shit, man.
I
Like, dude,
literally,
I got
I
fucking
literally was
chair
like, little,
already.
I was like, little bro, how much you need, Nick? I can't.
Yeah, we were like talking to him like concerned uncles, going like,
I
"Dog,
I
man,
felt awful for
what's
him. I'm like,
happening
bro,
to you, man?"
Are you really that like desperate? You need like a real chair, man.
I'm like, this man sitting on a camping stool. That shit that I see on the YouTube commercial that nobody uses in real life. I'm like, bro,
Exactly. Like,
what's
look up
wrong
this
with
fucking
that?
like. I'm gonna look up office chair on Amazon. How much can these go
Yeah,
for?
it's
Fucking,
like there is no way that you could be this broke, sir.
yeah.
Well,
Go on
the thing-
Amazon. Look for like a $40
Homeless people sit better than you.
Well, to be fair,
Exactly.
I was in college too, and being in college, you were kind of broke because like all the time you wanted to go to work, you had to go to school.
Yeah, but
So I understand the struggle.
nah, man, like you just have to
But
be
I wouldn't stand on
resourceful.
no record.
Fuck no.
You-
But I
you at
wouldn't
least-
stand on
you at
no
least
record.
have, like, a
Up like you
chair,
had.
though.
Like
You
at least
have
Rick
a
Ross
chair
had
in
brick.
college.
Yeah, actually.
This man,
You had-
I'm like,
You at
Yeah.
least had like a fucking chair. Jesus Christ.
God damn.
Like they gave you them in their dorms for me at least. I don't know about you guys, but when I was in college, they gave me like chairs.
Well, yeah. When I was in college, like I rented like a student room, and it had like a
Yeah.
desk and a chair and a bed, and you know,
Exactly.
the dorm,
prison.
the dorm,
Prison.
the dorm I went to in college was colloquially known as the zoo,
The
and a
zoo.
person-
Why
The zoo.
Why
and the
that?
person got shot there.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
you went to one of those colleges. I went to
yeah, I did.
I went to college in Canada where we don't have guns.
I'm
I was
so
in the
sorry.
hood college.
I went to a private college, then a public college, then dropped out because COVID and YouTube. So it's like
Yeah.
You were already
fucking
making a
well.
bag, so let's talk about YouTube. So like,
enough of a bag to live off of.
Yeah.
I'm not like
Yeah.
a millionaire, but you know, enough.
Hey,
damn, nah, man,
Whatever.
Dumbsville stacking the loaf, stacking the bread.
I make $1 billion. I make more money than a crypto scammer.
Yeah.
So,
For real.
you know.
Fucking fanning himself with a billfold right
No.
here. So like when it comes to like your I don't want to get too into stuff, but like the way you kind of pivoted your content, because I know it was like
Yeah.
quite deliberate. You like
Mhm.
went into like film, animation reviews, video game reviews, things that like
Yeah.
you were deeply interested in rather than like
Mhm.
your previous work. Like were you
Exactly.
always very passionate about that content, or did you like kind of find that and discover it over time?
I was absolutely always into it, but I feel like a big thing was like I always like felt like I couldn't do it for some reason.
Mm.
Like for a long time, a lot of my internet presence was just more so just me like venting
Right.
online.
got you.
But switching over to like actual like film review, game review, etc. content, just being me. When I pivoted over, because I kind of like did it at sort of like a low point where I was getting like so tired of it. I think what I ended up feeling was like I'm at the point where I've made enough content. I'm gonna give this a try and give this like a good college foundation. And if it
Mm.
doesn't work, hey, I got college right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just gonna focus on
Yeah, I
that.
got you.
So like you had
But-
like a solid fallback though when you were like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think I dropped out of college at that point because YouTube was making some money, but I was already monetized at that point. But switching over content, I'm like, hey, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna go back to school. I'm gonna just focus on whatever next career is good for me.
Mm.
But jumping over into it, I always wanted to do it because I've grown up on like film review shit. Like that was
Right.
like my main content that I
Mhm.
consumed.
Yeah.
Like I grew up on like Nostalgia Critic, AVGN, JonTron. Even like I grew up on like that guy with the glasses, like a lot of more like lesser known people like Phaelus
Mhm.
and who else? Tom the Shadows, Rap Critic, shit like that. Like a lot of people that are that were just part of that whole group
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I would always like try and find like underground, like weird, not as popular people to get into. And so when I transitioned, it was obviously scary because like when you go into it, you don't know how it's gonna be.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
honestly, finishing my first review, which was the Fantastic Four video, that review, it was like the first time since I started making content when I actually like felt like really like proud of it.
Right.
Like I'm like
it was satisfying for you. Yeah.
exactly. Like I was rewatching my video. I'm like, this is the best content I have made thus far.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if people are going to be into this, but I'm just going to keep doing this because I love this. This is like so what I've always wanted to do. And the Alpha and Omega video, especially, was something that I've wanted to do since I was like fucking 11.
Yeah.
So doing that video was so liberating. And after that, I had like 23 video ideas at least in the I just had a whole new inspiration for content. So transitioning like over to film reviews was something that I was always like into it, but just always just kind of insecure about. So
like, because would you
it,
say like because of that uncertainty of like shifting your content, like you didn't want to do it, or like initially, is that what you mean? That like at first you didn't want to do it?
Yeah, I was just thinking it's gonna be a lot of work, and it's a lot of work to do it on like a consistent basis. But jumping over it and forcing myself to do it was just like, and also just in general, will my audience even like this? But jumping over to it and getting like a new audience and old people loving it more, I feel like it's me just kind of looking at it and going, man, this is what I want to do, and this is like where I think I'm going to be headed for now. Like this is great. This is what I've always wanted to do. I didn't realize how much I wanted to do it until I started doing it.
Yeah, so. Like because oftentimes I'll see like, I think your audience responded pretty well to you moving in direction. Of course, you get your average like, I miss the old Dumbsville, straight chop the soul Dumbsville, kind of shit.
Yeah. a lot of them are a lot of them are like, not to get too political, but a lot of them are like mostly like a vocal minority.
Right.
No, we got you.
Yeah, a lot of them are a vocal minority, and a lot of them are, gonna be honest, they're just trying to more so get at me and see my reaction than anything.
Yeah. Like they know it's like a sticking point for you in a way or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like
corny. Very corny.
It's corny. It's very corny. It's like Jesus Christ. It wasn't that cool.
Yeah.
Like I made the fucking content. I was there when people watched me make the content. I wasn't fucking iDubbbz. I wasn't like even that famous. Like I didn't get famous, I feel like, until I started making film reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
no, I got you.
It's so weird how people almost like fetishize it. And not to like get too on it, because I don't really like want to go too deep into it.
No, we got you.
Yeah, but it's like people just kind of like fetishize it. And it's like, it's weird because during that era, I was just like a fucking 17-year-old, perpetually 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid latching onto what made him like a little bit popular. And
right.
I was like, I wasn't even that popular, so it's like kind of weird. But I feel like a good majority of people don't really see that, and a good majority of people do know me for what I'm currently doing more so than what I used to be doing. So
and that must be a good feeling as a creator that like you picked a direction you stand by and you've been able to move forward with it. So that's dope, man.
Definitely.
Because I know how it is trying to like just be a teenager online, and then all your ideas are out there. People are like, we like the old version of you this way. I'm like, I was a 7.
Yeah, I changed.
You
changed.
I changed. Yeah, I grew up. I changed. Like even though it was weird because when I made the film review videos, it was kind of a light switch moment where it's like, oh, I hate this now all of a sudden. Kind of weird, but I feel like a lot of like creators that do switch content, mainly like the big example is iDubbbz again.
Yeah.
I feel like with iDubbbz, with someone like him, I feel like with him, and obviously it's subjective, but with iDubbbz's content, when he switched up to do less content cop videos, my problem isn't so much they stopped doing like content cop or anything. I can see why. I get it. And shit with Eric and Sam Hyde was a good kind of spiritual successor. The issue is though that everything else he did is genuinely worse and fucking boring. He's never evolved, I feel like, as a creator.
Yeah, he kind of almost like lost his like lust for creation, like it feels like you watch iDubbbz now,
Mhm.
and you see someone who is just kind of going through the motions. Like,
Yeah, it feels like the
Exactly.
Jay Prince apologies where Jay Prince has the AKA except
Right.
for
Right. It's not just the case of like I miss the old iDubbbz. It's the case like for me, it's not the case of I miss the old iDubbbz. You know, Ian is Ian. He can do whatever the fuck he
Right.
wants. My case is I miss the iDubbbz that felt like he was like he wanted to do something or say something with his content.
yeah,
And he never does. Honestly, I feel like iDubbbz, if he really wanted to apologize for, you know, saying the N-word in front of Tana Mojo, he should have made a new video that was self-reflective and that was his own personal art project.
yeah,
Instead of sitting in front of his dumbass camera and going, ooh, woo, I'm sorry for making a cycle of hate. Make
Yeah.
an artistic project about that.
Mhm.
Fucking
yeah, because
fucking
like be
made him
creative
play that
with
money.
it if you're really
Exactly.
trying to make
Like-
a change.
like I get that like you feel bad about it. And I said edgy shit when I was younger too.
Mhm.
And it will always say edgy shit.
For sure,
I
yeah.
get that. I get that. But when your content is not artistically stimulating, that's a whole new problem. You know?
Yeah.
It's like you're not being like an artistic figure.
Right.
You're not being like the figure that people loved you for, which is like genre pushing and funny and groundbreaking. You know? Not to be like iDubbbz is like fucking Salvador Dali or anything, but
No,
Yeah, the Werner Herzog of YouTube, iDubbbz, yeah.
yeah, exactly. But
it's
you were like, but you need to like push yourself as a creator constantly. You know,
Mhm.
you gotta like be able to like do that instead of making like vapid videos where it's like just kind of boring and whatever. You should be like pushing yourself to make better, more engaging, more experimental content. It's like once again with music, like with a lot of artists that we were talking about earlier. A lot of the best artists will make something out of left field.
Yeah,
iDubbbz won't make something out
right.
of left field.
He's actually receded where he's making safer and more sanitized and easier
Yeah.
content now.
Exactly. I think sorry to interrupt but I think a big example of a content creator from that like era that was part of that edgy sort of community but
Filthy
grew
Frank?
older, not filthy, not kind of filthy Frank, but he kind of like switched Joji switched like he switched industries entirely.
yeah,
But Pyrocynical
Mm,
is
Okay.
someone is that I was going to mention. Pyrocynical is the person I would have brought up. He's someone who's still a YouTuber, but he's someone who went from commentary videos to like now he does like essays and film reviews, and game reviews and whatnot. And his content I think is his best content he's ever made because he's always pushing himself to make content that is like stimulating
Right.
and is enjoyable and different and weird. And that's what I always try to do, you know. And it's hard, you know, making videos on a weekly basis, semi-weekly basis, and making things that are always groundbreaking. I'm going to have videos that are not as good as other ones that are just fine. But Pyrocynical makes stuff that is like true to him. That's what I try and do on my stuff. It's like you always want to be true to yourself and make stuff that is trying to push boundaries and be out there
Mhm.
and be something that is pushing yourself and creating an identity. You know, that's what I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what I think every creator needs to do. Even on their first go, not even just on their first go, but just in general, when you're a creator, you should always be elevating yourself in the end as an artist. Because I feel like creators on YouTube, they're not like, you know, Nolan or anything, but you are an artist and you should be pushing yourself as an artist in a personal way. That's what I think. That's what I think.
No, that's
No.
very fair. Like Zuki, what you were gonna add something there?
No, I was like, nah, I get it, because as a content creator, that I didn't even see myself doing this type of stuff for real. But I think like just evolving with the short time we have, how far we kind of came just off two dudes talking about stuff to like interviewing people. It's kind of crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and like how we
Exactly.
just always want to make sure we give
Mhm.
someone worth their time when they click play to listen to, and something that we're happy and satisfied with as well, versus trying to just hit the notions to make content because now this is something you pick to do versus you're passionate about what you're putting your work into and how it reflects
Mhm.
on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
Exactly.
you know, when it comes to what Zuki and I do with the
Well, yeah.
podcast here, and then like, I've been doing a bit of streaming. I've been working on some videos of like the thing I've been trying to do is like documentaries about like eccentric people in music, entertainment, like whatever it may be. Creative people was kind of my focus. Was like I want to talk about like strange people in creativity.
Mhm.
But like
Exactly.
the thing that worries me, and maybe you can kind of shed a light on this, is like sometimes you'll have a dud or you'll have a video that doesn't work or like a concept that doesn't work. Like how have you dealt with your kind of ugly duckling videos or videos that didn't necessarily achieve what you wanted to do, or you were disappointed that your fans didn't respond to them the same way as some of your more popular content?
I think that comes down to more of like, I think on YouTube, it's more of like, I feel like a marketing kind of ish, not marketing, but like analytical, I guess, question.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, I feel like a lot of and it's something that I'm more so just discovering, but with a lot of my content, what I'm trying to evolve to currently, when there's a video that doesn't perform nearly as well for some weird reason, it's something where you just kind of have to learn. Because I feel like with a lot of my content, I haven't really, I think, aside from like a couple video essays and some comments videos, which aren't even really that main part of a channel, when it comes to my core reviews that I do, I can't really think of one that really has had a kind of grossly negative reaction, because a lot of times I am I am very focused on trying to, even if people don't agree with the video, I do try and have it to a point where they can understand where I'm coming from, or have them understand why I don't like something and go in depth about it. So I haven't really had anything where people have looked at me and have like went, "Oh, you're just wrong about this opinion." I've had, obviously, YouTube is going to be YouTube. I've had comments about that. Some videos are more divisive than others because they are like on things like that are more with more passionate audiences. But I haven't really had a video where my audience comes to me and goes like, you're just being vitriolic towards this thing. You're being angry and a dickhead, like Ralph, like a Ralph the Movie Maker Joker moment." Because I try and avoid that kind of moment on my channel. On Twitter, I can say kind of like, I can say like kind of more hot takey stuff because it's Twitter and I'm not gonna like include that anywhere.
Yeah.
But on like in my videos, I try to like, I'll make jokes and shit that are minor, and I'll be honest with my jokes and whatnot, but like, for example, if I were to say like, Sonic Frontiers is dog shit for 5 seconds in the video.
What?
Ah!
Knock his house down. Get him.
Yeah.
But it's like usually
I have to ratio you now, man. I have to ratio you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Ratio me.
Yeah.
But like with the Has-Been Hotel joke and shit like that, a lot of that is meant to like kind of piss people off and start controversy, to be honest.
I got you.
Yeah, you're kind of taking the piss. You're like being
Exactly.
incendiary to be incendiary. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like the joke. It's kind of like the whole joke, especially the Has-Been Hotel joke. The Has-Been Hotel joke is a perfect example because like I think I've seen Has-Been Hotel like once in my life. I didn't like it at all. But fucking like making the I haven't like made the joke in a while because it's kind of dead now. But when I was making the joke in every video, the whole joke was just me making people angry. And when people got mad at me over it, it was the funniest shit because that was like the punchline.
Yeah, that was your Norm Macdonald 9/11.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald 9/11 moment.
Wait, you don't like Has-Been Hotel, the greatest animation since Steven Universe 3?
Exactly. So Steven Universe 3, there were 3 Steven Universes.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Yeah. Steven Universe goes to the hood. You didn't see that?
He goes
Yeah,
to
that's
the
a good
hood.
one. Yeah.
He goes to
He tries to rationalize with a bunch of fucking niggas in Atlanta. It's like, you guys just need to be friends. Yeah, that's a good
homie.
season.
It's not a game. Stop.
real gang, real O-Block. He joins Glow Gang.
Oh man. I gotta bring this up because fucking Zuki and I talked about this because you seem to like Chief Keef and
I love Keith. Yeah, I love Keith.
So So Zuki and I are also very big Glow Gang fans. We're both big fans of Sosa. It's very fucking funny that you bring this stuff up to people who have no frame of reference whatsoever on Twitter.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'll be seeing
Who have never like listened to a single Chief Keef mixtape in their entire life.
Yeah.
This man be posting all the Glow Gang stuff on Twitter and his fans. I'm like, why this only got 12 likes? This is hilarious.
Yeah. It's just like,
yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
Like that was one of the things that like I realized I really fucked with you, man. Was like when you were making jokes about like Carti and like Chief Keef and Kanye. I was like, but like but the real humor, the like Norm Macdonald-esque humor, is that your audience doesn't even fucking understand the joke.
Exactly. Oh my god, you fucking get it.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, it's kind of, I am genuinely into like, I am obviously like into a lot of shit. I'm into Keef, I'm into Carti. I'm into like, I love music. I love like rap and trap and hip hop and shit. I have like a whole like, fucking like 40-hour playlist of like just random like trap and hyperpop and scene core that I have. Like I like a lot of like underground like plug and B and whatnot. Like I have a lot of like underground shit that I just listen to.
Yeah.
And I feel like people think that I just referenced it just because I like it. And yeah, that is part of it. But also like I am in on the joke that I am a PNG tuber that listens to fucking like Opium like 24/7. Like part of it, I am unironically into like Carti and Ken and Lone and whatnot, but also part of the I am in on the joke that I referenced this, and it's so out of place for the type of creator that I am.
Yeah, you're talking about Alpha and Omega, and then you just start playing Sky in the middle of it or something. Yeah,
like Pissy Pamper.
Yeah.
They want to be crazy.
The Goodbye Volcano High video, I'm like, this man put a whole thing in front of him. Like his fans like, I came here to watch this game. I see I forgot.
Yeah, fucking JPEG Mafia reference.
Yeah, JPEG Mafia had me weak. I was like, damn.
It's fucking nobody. I feel like I love a lot of my friends. It's great being in a community of a lot of like people. It's great being like where I am and being in a community with people that are way more famous than me. Being friends with people, being great friends with people like Ellis Mark and Pan Pizza and whatnot. People that are just so different from me music, not entirely, but like just people that are like so different from me when it comes to music wise. I do know people that are into the same shit that I am.
Yeah.
But a lot of them just like, a good majority of them, even the ones that are, don't bring it up that much. And the people that aren't into it just are so deep from me. I was in fucking California. I was hanging with Mark and Veronica, right? We know who Veronica is, right?
Yeah.
Put on fucking Stop Breathing by Carti. And Veronica's like, this shit just sounds like noise to me. This is awful.
Dear God. They don't get it.
They don't get the vision. They don't get it. But you know what though? What is based though is like also in the car was my friend Miranda Parkin. She's a voice actress and one of my best friends. I got her into fucking Peggy. She loves Peggy. She's like a great friend of mine. She was Nagi in The World Ends With You.
Oh shit.
That game.
Like Neo The World Ends With You, yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, she was Nagi in that game.
Holy fuck.
My homies.
Oh damn.
Yeah, she's one of my best friends.
That's slime. Slime.
It's hard.
That is slime. She told me she told me about it, and it was like, I'm like, what the fuck? Oh my god, you're moving up. She's like one of my besties.
Oh, that's
I
sick.
love her so much. But I got her to like Peggy and shit, and I played Peggy in the car. And it's like, oh my god, I love Peggy. But I am like plugged into a lot of shit. Like I'm really plugged in. Like I listen to like a lot of weird shit. Jaden does too, and Jaden also brings it up. But I feel like I'm like to an autistic degree.
Well, like I commend you like forcibly taking the aux and playing stuff no one will like in the car.
Exactly. Honestly, I just think it's funny. It adds to the comedy. I think like it's also just funny in general referencing Carti because it's the meme. Yeah. But just in general, like referencing the fucking Summers meme too, and the Goodbye Volcano High video. Like nobody, I feel like any other like anybody else who reviews Goodbye Volcano High
would never listen to Summers.
But
Yeah,
I saw that shit. I was like, damn, he gets it. This is hilarious.
yeah, they wouldn't even know like fucking Summers is,
Exactly.
like Slay World and shit. But like
Yeah.
I love that. I love a lot of that shit. I listen to like a lot of that shit. Like fucking, dude, I love like just referencing weird shit like that.
Well, yeah, like
It's
I
shit
knew
that's-
you like you made a cemetery reference in some video, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, this man is fucking out of
I'm
pocket.
plugged-
Like
I'm
you're just
plugged-
willing to do
I'm
that
plugged
shit.
in.
I like that.
I know.
I'm plugged in. I'm plugged in. I love a lot of like you will be like I have like a lot of weird shit in my playlist. I'm looking now. I have like Hey Guapo and shit like that. Like people nobody's ever heard of that I listen to on the daily. I just like that shit. I just reference it because it's funny.
We have to get Ellis Mark into Black Cray. That's the
Yeah, we got to.
we gotta get
we gotta get him going like, I've been listening to High C. I can't do an Irish accent.
oh my god. Yeah, I've been listening to Oi, I've been listening to High C.
Yeah.
God goes crazy.
Just get him into fucking reptilian club voice and High C.
Fucking-
We gotta get him. We gotta get him rapping Faneto.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah,
for real.
getting Ellis Mark into Sosa would be the greatest feat.
Yeah,
he would. I feel like Mark would. He has to know who they are. Like he just doesn't care. Like I'm friends with him and shit. Like he knows. I think he knows who they are, but he's just like he doesn't like care at all.
I would love this. That, like I know he does that whole thing where he watches like a whole ass series and reviews it. He's got to review every Chief Keef mixtape. Back from the Dead 1 and 2, the one with Gucci
Finally
Mane.
should do that.
Finally written.
You should fucking do that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be so fucking funny. I should tell him about that.
That would be hysterical because he would not be the
gonna
right
fucking-
person to talk about that.
It makes him the right person
I
to
should do
talk about it.
That's the funny. You know what? That's the funny part too, because sometimes in collabs I'll be in on the joke too, as
Yeah.
well. And like, so I'm like, I like being self-aware about that. I should like have like what I should do. I should make a review of like a Chief Keef album and do it with like Ellis Mark as a collab. That'd be fucking funny.
Oh man, like yeah, having just forcing Ellis Mark to listen to Mansion music cover to cover.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like what did you think of the song with Carti? He'd probably hate it, I assume.
yeah.
He'd be like, "Oh, that was good." He wouldn't care.
Oh, that was good.
I will say though, he did watch the Donda stream when it happened and he liked it. So
Which song did he like?
Oh, that's a good.
Don't say that-
That's a good ass question.
Don't
He
say-
didn't say.
He didn't
Because
say,
I was
but he
gonna say, was it the end of the remote control with the glove?
I doubt he would even know. I know like one time, like a while back, like when the Jeffrey 6 was still a thing, like my friends and I were talking about it, and Mark was like, "Oh yeah, I saw the Donda thing for a little bit. I didn't watch it for a long time, but it was good. It was really good." I'm like, "Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
Mark's getting yay pilled. He's getting yay
Yeah,
pilled."
nah, man, that glob galab feature was nuts. That guy spit, man.
I am the
I am-
Gobgo Lab. Fucking
The
blog.
swallow-
That guy's gonna get checks for the rest of his life off of that
Right.
shit. That's so nuts.
That man just go to his mailbox.
That man went. You know, he went to his mailbox and he went, "Fuck, it's $70,000."
Is that how much he fucking made?
Most likely,
Is that
that's
real?
that's how much shit like that costs, man.
Yeah, because Kanye used that sample
Yeah.
in that song.
Yeah, he had
So
to
he's
clear
getting-
that sample. That probably cost
Yeah,
a stack.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
that's a fucking bag.
Yeah,
That's a fucking
and-
bag. How much?
But now
I'm wondering
he
how
would
much,
have to get royalties too, because
Yeah,
the sample's going to be on the record forever.
yeah.
I'm wondering how much would that be?
A lot.
I don't know. That
Oh
dude
my God.
just sitting there. I did this stupid one-off kids movie. Best mistake I made in my life.
I think
Kanye loves my
like
movies.
scale for like that kind of payment would probably be around 30K.
Yeah,
I'm wondering how Kanye found out about that. Was it through the Donkey video?
I hope so.
man.
I pray that Kanye watched a donkey video and was like, "Man, this is hilarious. I got flip this shit."
Statistically speaking, Kanye would be the type of person to watch a video game donkey video and see that part and go, "He's spitting."
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. That's a yay moment.
that I would be shocked that Kanye knows who like fucking Donkey is, because he doesn't seem like he would be that like knowledgeable of like gaming culture and
Who,
whatnot.
Kanye? He went to a Persona event once.
Yeah,
He did?
Kanye-
What the fuck?
You
I didn't
haven't
know
seen that shit? Yeah, he was at the premiere of Persona 4 Dancing All Night.
Yeah,
He-
All right,
Kanye,
never mind then. What the fuck?
Yeah, no,
never mind.
Kanye really do be us, man.
yeah.
He
Never mind.
Bef-
Never mind.
yeah.
That he would be in a donkey.
yeah, before he started making music, he was trying to get into video game development. Like he's that
Man,
nigga a dork, man.
look, all I'm gonna say is, imagine Kanye trying to work with Capcom back in the day, and them looking
Horrible. Probably horrible.
That makes me. I never realized just how much of a dork Kanye actually is. Like,
Oh,
like
yeah,
Sierra
like-
and Star Wars and shit.
Man, there's a video of him playing Sonic 2 and he looked so happy. It's like
Yeah. I keep forgetting how much of like a dork Kanye
Yeah.
is. It
Okay.
makes-
or there
Okay,
was that
but-
video where he's hanging out with like Zaku from Gundam too. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's a dweeb, man.
But to be-
I keep
But the big
forgetting
man
that how
mind-
much of a nerd he actually is. Jesus
all
Christ.
black people like Sonic too.
That's true.
It's in our DNA.
That's true. That's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's a fact. It's a shame about the rest of those games, but
Sonic sucks. Base.
I didn't say that. I'm like clenching
Never
my
mind, never
fist, going like I can only say so much.
This is gonna be like the Alex Jones interview, only instead of like God's chosen
Yeah.
people, it's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
I mean, you're saying some of the games, right, Dumbsville?
Yeah.
All
No,
of the games.
All of the games.
Nah, hold
Sonic
on.
was never good. It's just a fact.
Nah.
I'm telling y'all, Sonic was never
It was
good.
like
That shit
on
was
Sonic
ass
Wars,
every
just like,
day.
no, I can see Sonic Advance 1 and 2, but Dumbsville, please.
Hold on. I like Sonic Advance too.
Oh man, no, that shit's not widescreen. All right, we're not getting into this conversation. It could go south very fast.
It can go south very quickly
My fucking-
because the only Sonic game I beat in a long time was Sonic Battle, and I down that hill.
Oh,
so sorry.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I'm so sorry.
This specific topic is over. Because I
over.
know
Enough.
I know where it's
Enough.
gonna go.
Yeah, enough.
In regards
Gonna
to
get shit on again.
non-hedgehog things that you're passionate about positively or negatively, like
Thank God.
what
Thank God.
what are some topics that you really love or hate respectively that you've covered?
Some topics that I love, like just movies I love, like my favorite.
Or
videos,
like
you
just
mean, or,
generally, yeah, just generally. Like,
just
what do you
in
like
general.
talking about, or what do you hate talking
Yeah.
about?
You know what? That's funny because like a lot of my videos are just shitting on things most of the time, but I feel like the videos I had like the most fun doing, because a lot of times I kind of just make them, and I make the video, I talk about it, I hyperfixate for a bit, then I go, okay, I'm done now, next. But I think the next video that I'm working on is a massive like Klonoa video.
Hell
That's gonna be- Hell yeah, fuck yes, that's gonna be one that I'm really excited for. I think weirdly enough the Alpha and Omega ones, because I've wanted to do that for a long time. I hate those movies so much, but I loved doing the videos on those though. I love doing the videos on those. That was so cathartic.
That's the one with the wolves, right?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that ain't Balto. Fuck Alpha and Omega.
True. I enjoyed doing the Uncharted video because that was the one time I could hyperfixate on Uncharted.
Like the Tom Holland one, yeah.
Yeah, the Tom Holland one. That was the
God.
one time I could talk about the Uncharted.
Man, I
games.
loved when people are like genuinely defending that horrible movie.
That movie sucks ass. Worst movie ever.
Hey, what's
Dear God.
the worst movie though? The live action Uncharted, the live action Assassin's Creed, or that god awful Disney Prince of Persia movie with Jake Gyllenhaal posing as a Persian man?
Oh damn!
Uncharted by a long shot.
Damn! Assassin's
Really?
Creed's really bad.
Yeah,
It is-
Assassin's Creed is really
It is
bad.
no Assassin's Creed is really bad,
Yeah.
but I can at least look at it and go, yeah, that's an Assassin's Creed movie at least.
Man,
You know.
Michael Fassbender's agent, maybe the worst agent in history, getting him in
Yeah.
that movie.
Like it's really boring, but like that is a movie. That is like an Assassin's Creed movie. And Prince of Persia, like even though it's a bad rep of the games, it's still
It
like
was a good adventure movie though, if you think about it. At the end of the day,
yeah,
fun.
and like
Yeah.
like the Prince of Persia games aren't they're great and all, but they're not like maybe it's just my emotional attachment, but they don't quite have the kind of incredible narrative appeal that I feel like Uncharted has.
Yeah, Prince of Persia is just kind of a lot of moments strung together a lot of times.
Yeah.
Well, that and also like because when I played Prince of Persia 1 as a child and 2, I was like, this is the hardest shit ever. You can rewind time and stuff. But versus, that's on Xbox, OG Xbox versus PlayStation 3 Uncharted. Yeah, I see why. Yeah.
A lot of people are like with Prince of Persia. That's more so like gameplay focused too. Gameplay. So with that, when it comes to like with shit like that, with the gameplay and whatnot, with games that are more gameplay focused, like Prince of Persia and somewhat Assassin's Creed. With Assassin's Creed, it was kind of like there's more isolated stories. It's not adapting to anything specific. With those, you can separate from the game. It's like, well, you're not really missing a whole lot if you watch it. It's there, whatever. But with Uncharted, it's a real damn shame because Uncharted is a game that can be adapted to a movie.
It's a video game that it follows a lot of the beats of a movie.
Exactly. And it's a great story too.
Yeah.
So it's a damn shame that you can't like have people witness this. I think of like The Last of Us show as a clear contrast. Which is like a great fucking show. The Last of Us show is great. That show, seeing my dad's reactions to a lot of the plot points that I've already witnessed is great. Exactly, because he doesn't play video games, so he won't like be able to, he doesn't, he won't be able to get into the story like me, like I did when I first played it. But seeing him and my mom hasn't finished the show, but seeing both their reactions to scenes that I've witnessed 10 years ago is fucking great. It's fucking really cool.
Yeah, I can relate in the fact that like I was working at this office and like one of my coworkers every single Sunday it would pass and Monday we'd go to work and she'd like be filling me and a fellow coworker in about The Last of Us, and the both of us played that game.
Oh, they had to sneak by some clickers.
But we're just like going like, man, this is so crazy hearing this from a totally different perspective of someone who like doesn't play video games, not interested in video games,
Yeah, certain day at my job, I was like, because I act like I didn't know about it because I didn't want to be one of those people like, I'll beat that back. I'm like, that's crazy for real.
You gotta be stealthy about it. When you're working in the office, you can't show your power level. Yeah.
It reminds me back in the day of like the synergy between like book movies, between book fans of movies and the movie fans. I remember like, because I grew up around Hunger Games era, which it's Hunger Games, not the best.
They're making a new one too.
Yeah, but like my mom like read the book. I read like the first book I think a long time ago and didn't like that was it. But my mom read the first book because she's like, my mom's she's a conservative white woman. She's like, oh, it's about killing. I heard it's so bad. It's like awful. But we had like neighbors that were into it that were also like in the same area. And they're like, no, it's about a love story. It's great. And my mom is like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna read this. And she read it and she fell in love with it and ended up reading the whole series. And so every time the movies would come out and I would watch them, she would like brag to me going, I know what happens at the end. I know what happens at the end. Which is like, it's braggy, but there's something fun about that.
Going into it, like having the information already from a different source.
Knowing already. It's a fun, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun synergy.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
My version of the Hunger Games we had was called Battle Royale.
Oh, hell yeah.
As a young impressionable child, I seen the Japanese version of Battle Royale. And I'm like, I'm going to read the manga. The manga's nothing like that movie. The movie is way more tame than the manga because I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah. I've not seen Battle Royale yet, but it's on my watch my Letterboxd watch list. I need to watch it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of shit I need to watch.
This is a good one. On the topic of cinema, I got to bring this up because
hell yeah.
And we'll probably circle back to talking about Klonoa because boy, I sure do love Klonoa. But when it comes to movies, I really like that review of Taxi Driver you did.
Thank you.
And
that video view wise didn't do too well, but that was a project I feel like is just one that I wanted to make and one that I just felt like making.
Yeah, like well, like listening to you talk about Taxi Driver from your frame of reference was like really interesting because it's a movie I've seen many times. It's like one of my favorite films. But I think a lot of people can like draw from the themes of the movie, but can appreciate them in a different way. And
exactly.
I could kind of feel how passionate you were about it. You know, that's what like really resonated with me. I was like, man, this guy, he's younger than me, but like he's discovering this film in a different way than I discovered it when I was probably closer to your age.
Well, we're not that much apart, are we? I'm like 24. You're
I'm in my like early 30s.
Yeah.
All right. Legit.
Yeah, I'm like a Dark Souls ghoul. Yeah, I'm a hollow.
Yeah.
Because once
your pan pizza's age.
Yeah, once you hit your 30s, it's over apparently.
Yeah,
it's over.
Okay, young people keep beating our asses. They're like 25 and they're saying like you're basically about to die because you're 32.
They're looking at us like we Gandalf and Sauron.
I know, man.
Exactly.
It's fucking foul how these 20-year-olds talk to 30-year-olds.
I know. I too was born in the 90s.
They'll grow into it. They'll grow into being 30 one day. So it is what it is.
Yeah, Zuki and I are both like closer to Pan's age, but like
but I understand that though with like different perspectives because like in the end like that is what art I think has to be, and that's what I feel like because there's it was Oscar Wilde who wrote an essay called "Critic as Artist," which is so it's for me. That's kind of where I approach it from, where it's like a lot of us critics are the artists because we're the ones interpreting the work and even with me, like making my own work out of it. So, but I feel like with a lot of like, I'm very passionate about film and art in general because that's what I just always have loved. All the mediums. I've loved so many. I think art is incredibly important. I've discussed why, but I have a great passion for it, and I think that with stuff like the Taxi Driver video, even with that, whereas like someone who I would is like kind of like a critic area level of artist, I feel like where I am making artistic expressions. I think like with me, even if that video didn't do too well, there is a lot to learn as like both a critic and an artist from how I created that. Because I do feel because I am proud of that video, even though it didn't do well, I'm proud of it. Because it was a personal video where I did research on it. Yeah. And I quoted Kojima, you know, I looked into like isolation. I took away certain things from characters. I feel like with a lot of just media in general. I grew up in, you know, a Christian environment, right? And there was like in high school, I went to like a private Christian school. And there was this thing, you know, you have to take Bible classes in those, obviously. Right. But there was a concept we learned in that when it comes to biblical and obviously I'm not like shoving religion or anything. I'm just bringing this up to relate back to the idea of art. But there's a concept in evangelical studies. It's called hermeneutics. Which is essentially like looking into the text and like applying it yourself almost. Self-application. At least with the hermeneutic. Let me see if there's a right definition for it. The branch of knowledge that deals with interpretation. Hermeneutics. So my bad. No, you're good. My bad.
Nah, because I was gonna talk about I grew up with like I didn't go to like a Christian school, but from like the age of 12 to like 18, I was heavily in my church, so I knew all about like hermeneutics and
about like I came from that background myself too. So
exactly. So I feel like a lot of times with art in general, you kind of have to have a hermeneutics or some level of hermeneutical study to interpret art. That's what you kind of have to do. You have to, because art is made as an emotional expression, and it is made from the artist's perspective. But there's also the idea of the death of the author and the people who are consuming the art, especially the critics and the people analyzing the work publicly, are the ones that are going to also be finding their own kind of interpretation of it or their own meaning for it. So
like I mean, in regards to like Taxi Driver, like the screenwriter Paul Schrader has been on Note talking about how it was like a reflection of a lot of his emotional challenges at that juncture of his life, where he was disillusioned, he was frustrated, he felt emasculated by society. And you know, same with like Scorsese was a young man who was cutting his teeth in film, and the material resonated with him. De Niro was a young actor at the time, so like the three of them had very relatable experiences interpreting the script the way they did too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like that's very important when it comes to both writing and just in general, even like film criticism as well. You have to be able to interpret it yourself. Even with like my reviews, I feel like people that watch my video one way are going to get a whole different like perspective, or it's going to resonate with them a whole different way than someone else, you know? So even with, like critic video or like videos of like reviews or whatnot, I feel like you have to have some level of artistic expression that's loose enough for someone to kind of really get it on their own, you know, or someone to interpret it on their own, because that's part of the relationship with just artists and people consuming the art. You have to be able to have that kind of interpretive personal steady to truly appreciate it. I feel like, especially when being a critic, you have to put your own emotional expression into it. That's what I think. You have to be able to put your own personal shit into it, because you are the one who's resonating with the material and interpreting it. You're kind of like a translator of the work.
Yeah, definitely. Like when you think of like criticism in like, you know, let's say like in the 60s and 70s, where like a lot of critics were held in great esteem, like guys like Roger Ebert or Robin Wood, or like, you know, people who wrote like very in-depth journalism about film, for example. I think that has kind of come back in a way, especially with YouTube. Now, obviously,
I was gonna say it still exists now. Like, if not, like, not to the point where it's like, well, no, maybe it is to the same point, because like, people will say like, oh, did you see that? For example, Scott the Woz video. I love that video or something. That video is great. I feel like it's kind of the modern version of what like Roger Ebert was doing,
right? Where,
you know, a lot
of
what,
like it's interpreted for an audience to kind of understand the material, or like you said, translated. Like that was a really good way.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like a lot of critics and a lot of people that do a lot of that, me included, even though I have a very weird way of like looking at my own content too, where I kind of view myself as more of like an experimental figure. But I feel like with a lot of film reviewers, we're more so just doing what everyone's been doing for decades. I'm more experimental with it, but I've been doing what people have been doing for decades, and same for, you know, those people before me. So with people like the Nostalgia Critic, for example, he took influences from Roger Ebert, and I don't know where Roger Ebert took his influences from, but I'm sure he took influences from like, say, Oscar Wilde or something. So it's more so been like, in the age of the internet, I feel like film criticism and video game criticism and whatnot now, it is an art form, and what people are doing now is proof of that, because people are looking at individual videos and whatnot. And one of my favorite examples, weirdly enough, is probably it's probably like AVGN's like Earthbound video, where that one is like him talking about growing old and relating that to Earthbound in a very funny way.
Yeah.
That to me is proof enough that criticism is in itself an art form, you know?
Yeah.
You have to be able to have that personal expression, and then the audience can interpret that. So it really is a really cool cycle. I really love that too. So that's what I really appreciate about both. That's why I'm so passionate personally about like film, video games, and my own field, which is reviews of that kind of stuff. Because it's all just art to me. It is all just art to me.
Yeah. Yeah, because
So-
it's still transformative, and it's you can tell a pretty compelling story about yourself through how
Yeah.
you interpret the art.
Absolutely. And you know, I feel like some stuff that I do, even though my shit is very goofy and silly, what I also try and do within that is try and maybe blur, especially with my best example is probably my Clone High video,
Mhm.
where I really try to do it. I try and kind of at certain points blur the line between between funny review, funny goofy review that's critical and being angry, and like emotional artistic expression, because a lot of people seem to think that there's like a divide between them. I personally don't think so. There might be kind of a line, but it's really not that like much that people think it is.
Like
You know
it's
what I mean?
it's like a threshold
got
that you
you.
can cross, though. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or you
exactly.
can keep it the same because pretty much one wasn't exist without the other.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
I got you because
A lot of people tend to think like, oh, film and film reviewers are so different, like one can't cross over to the other or whatnot. Like I think of a lot of like reviewers that do cross over or try and cross over in like a different industry.
Yeah. Well,
And they
yeah,
often-
many have.
They often tend to fail.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
But
and they often
many have succeeded, though. Like
yeah,
maybe not related to your points of reference. Not to interrupt you there, Dumbs,
Okay.
but like
no problem. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Francois Truffaut. Are you familiar with him?
no.
That was the Breathless director, right?
That's Jean-Luc Godard, but he was from the
Oh, no,
he was
but
from the same school of criticism.
yeah.
He was
I
a film
thinking- I was
critic
thinking
as
of,
well.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of that guy. I mixed them.
No,
up
that's
there,
fine. But the point stands is like him, Godard, and a couple other people from the French New Wave were film critics first, and then they pursued filmmaking. And Truffaut
Exactly.
made a film called The 400 Blows, which is like a coming of age
that's
film.
the one. That's
yeah.
what I was thinking of. Yeah.
And but like he also did a number of interviews with Alfred Hitchcock, who he was very inspired by. And Hitchcock himself was like a fairly notable like study of film. Another person you definitely know is Orson Welles, who wrote at great
Absolutely,
length
yeah.
about film prior to Citizen Kane. So
yeah,
he
absolutely,
was a
absolutely.
critic, and then his criticism evolved into his making theater and film. And then, like from Wells, he had a protege named Peter Bogdanovich, who is also a film critic who studied under Wells and then eventually made a number of films himself. Like his most notable was The Last Picture Show, which is an incredible movie. But like so the three people I named there are like pillars of filmmaking. Like if you took any film course, you would hear those three names, no doubt. And they all started
Absolutely.
talking about movies.
I was gonna say, like, a lot of people that exist now, because nowadays, in a lot of the more modern field, a lot of modern critics tend to fail at branching out. Like I think of like the AVGN, for example, like James Rolfe tried to and failed. Mr. Enner tried to do a Kickstarter and failed, which they aren't like.
Oh, I'm aware.
They are like. Yeah, exactly. They aren't fucking good. They aren't fucking Godard or anything. But it's like, but a lot of people look at like just modern examples and think, oh, film critics are just jealous. They can't make works on their own. But ignore, like you'd mentioned, and what I always think of too, the French New Wave. I think of my big example was Breathless. That's the big example that I always think of with Godard. But a lot of people seem to think, because of a lot of modern bad examples, they seem to think, oh, well, critics can't be artists because they just criticize other people's works and never make anything of their own. But no, critics are artists. They are making something of their own, making other people's works, of course, out of other people's works, of course. But that doesn't stop anyone from making something of their own.
Yeah.
That didn't stop hip hop from sampling.
Right.
Nope.
Right. It's
So
like it's sampling is a very good parallel because the way that like sampling interprets music, the uninformed person will hear about sampling and they'll go, oh, they're just stealing music wholesale and then rapping over it. But
but no, it's reinterpreting
right,
it from
right.
the sound.
And like
Yeah.
any gifted producer who samples, like, you know, anytime I think of sampling, I think of like guys like Alchemist or Ninth Wonder or Kanye, who
Absolutely.
they will turn a sample into an
It's a whole
entirely
song.
different song
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and breathe like
Absolutely.
brand new life. And the thing that really comes away from it is sampling is done out of respect for the previous generation of music, and it's to keep
Yeah.
those songs alive. Like how criticism is an effort to expand dialogue about film, or
Absolutely.
anything you're critiquing,
Absolutely.
rather.
Absolutely. Even if it's negative, there is still a massive you have to be passionate about film to criticize film, I feel like, because otherwise
no one chooses to critique something if they're not into it. You know?
yeah, especially maybe like
Yeah.
CinemaSins. Like that's the only example I can think of is like CinemaSins, who just kind of does it to do it. I feel like
That's nitpicking.
But,
That's not criticism.
exactly, exactly,
And they
exactly.
made a whole bag for like a decade and more, just talking about stuff in the movie and just putting the time in next.
Yeah. I hope he invested well.
Exactly. I hope he got that new house, that new Lambo. He's balling.
Damn,
He's
my
balling.
man whipping the Rari.
I think the guy that made CinemaSins, didn't he like write a book or something?
Oh man,
Jeremy, I think he wrote, I remember him. He wrote like a superhero book.
god damn.
For real?
I think so. I never read it though. I never heard anything about it. I don't
See,
know if it's good or bad.
that's who the you're just jealous people are talking about. It probably him.
Yeah. You're just jealous. You can't make anything of your own. Which, you know, I'm currently working on my own stuff in the background. It'll take me like 30 years probably, but I feel like a lot of stuff that I want to do, I'll probably learn from my own critiques, I think, or at least I'll try to. I don't know if my works will be like masterpieces or dog shit. I'm passionate about them, but I don't know if my works will be good or like complete dog shit. But people that like always like, you know, people that say that just come off as like really weird to me, because it's like a lot of what I wanted, a lot of like my personal works, I haven't even like written like publicly yet.
Mhm.
So I'm not even like really jealous of people. Like if anything, I don't want to be known as the guy that made like Wonder Woman 1984 or Max Steel or Alpha and Omega or the Clone High Season 2. If that were the case, I would like fucking quit writing or something, you know?
Yeah.
Not to say like not to say, you know, people that wrote, not to imply that people who made those should quit writing, but like, you know, for me, it's like, well, I want to, when it comes to me, when I make something, it's a whole new skill set that I'm going to have to learn.
Right.
But I feel like the rift, people tend to just use this vague rift that isn't really even there to just disregard people.
Mm.
And that's like, no, you shouldn't view it like that. How I view it is like criticism and art are both art, just two different kinds of art. They're two different skill sets of art.
Right.
You know,
and they can happily coexist. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like different mediums in a way. I feel like someone who's a filmmaker will have a hard time getting into gaming, game design, for example.
Yeah.
Someone who is someone who is like a musician will have a hard time getting into film or television or whatnot. See, for example, The Weeknd.
Right. With the Idol.
People will have exactly. It's not so much like, I'm a little sick on my nose, but for me, it's like, it's not so much that there's a rift or that people just aren't talented. It's that it's just two different skill sets someone has to learn over, you know?
Yeah.
And we can be harsh towards them. You know, it allows you to get like a thicker skin, allows you to go, okay, my work is shit, I should maybe go back to the drawing board. People are going to be harsh and whatnot, but you should also be able to, whenever you are an artist, you should always go back and go, okay, my work sucked dick. How do I make this better?
Right.
You know, that's no matter how hard.
That's like the fun of being creative, exactly. Right? It's like you want to improve.
No matter how people don't understand this, but I think like one thing that should be established is like when I make a review and I call someone like a Hollywood hack dickhead, the big thing is I want to be proven wrong. I want to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
Because that means like they made a good fucking work. They pushed the medium forward. I want to be fucking proven wrong, you know? I want someone to make a great goddamn work. And that's and people like I feel like people should really get that. A lot of critics don't come from a place of some do, but not all critics come from a place of like pure spite.
Right.
They come from a place of like they want art to be better and want the
Absolutely. Like, you know, one of
like-
the things that I'm sure you've run into with like, let's say like superhero movies is that they're very like assembly driven, very by the numbers, and
very McDonald's.
Yeah,
process.
they're designed to appeal to the broadest subsection of people. So
big bag.
You're
right.
Save for like a handful of examples I can think of, a lot of superhero movies are not going to tell very compelling, interesting stories with narrative turns, stories with like deeper characters, nothing like that.
They're not going to be, they are, I feel like, you know, I don't like saying that it isn't art, but they aren't going to be art the way that I want art to be art.
They,
you know?
they're meant to be entertainment, which in and of itself is a totally noble pursuit too, right?
They're not gonna, the best way I can describe it is they're not going to be like, what was that one? There's one robot art exhibit. What was it? Can't Help Me?
I was gonna say, oh yeah, with the robot just keeps going paint.
Yeah, exactly. They are.
I was gonna say more like Leonardo, more like the Mona Lisa to the right. Then to the left is that picture of the dogs playing poker.
Yeah.
To me, it's like you're gonna be less of like the robot with the shovel arm and more like a Thomas Kincaid painting, where sure it's like well like drawn. It's not the worst art ever, or whatnot. But it's, if you say that you're into art and you say your favorite artist is Thomas Kincaid, it's like it literally is like saying like I'm into movies. I love Endgame. It's like Jesus Christ. Like fucking
I love superhero movies. Endgame.
I love cinema. I love Spider-Man 2, my favorite movie. It's like, dude, you gotta like get it. You gotta like watch some like. You gotta watch some Repo Man.
I think there's a balance where like you don't have to expect every person who likes Spider-Man No Way Home to watch Michael Haneke films.
Oh no, of course
not.
No, of course not.
But like at the same time, you would like the movies to be a little more thought provoking.
Exactly.
I say that, but I need Fast and the Furious to stay the right amount of garbage.
Exactly. Some things are meant to just be trash, and that's okay.
I need to see Vin Diesel flip a car with his arm.
Yeah. To that, I fully agree to add on to that. And to me, it's like I think there will always be a place for turn off your brain fun movies, and I love that. And I personally love movies that blend the two. Actually, like my second favorite movie is Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, great movie.
Fucking masterpiece. I love both the books and the movie because they tend to. I wouldn't say like Scott Pilgrim is like some art house thing or anything.
No,
they do blend, especially the books. They blend the line between like real artistic expression and fun, goofy, dumbass, silly action movie. That I think makes for some of the best material. You know, just that sort of in between.
Man, just unrelated about Scott Pilgrim. That movie got snubbed when it came out, but it's such a fucking good movie. That movie was like dead on arrival when it came out.
Real.
Yeah. Honestly, it was ahead of its time.
It was like DVD and Blu-ray sales basically saved it. You know, which is crazy. It was like a cult classic. Yeah.
But I don't know if it came out today to feel kind of oversaturated because everything is kind of like that.
Yeah, it was very ahead of its time.
I think it's because of Scott Pilgrim, though things are like that now. That's why I think because of Scott Pilgrim, we got shit like Bullet Train and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think like I do think it is ahead of its time because the audience of Scott Pilgrim are people that are like my age, you know, people in their like 20s, you know. Good majority of the audience. Not to say that there aren't people that weren't into Scott Pilgrim beforehand, but I feel like a lot of the people that are really into Scott Pilgrim are people that like are in their 20s because it resonated with. So I do think that Scott Pilgrim is legit ahead of its time by like one generation, because when I first heard of Scott Pilgrim when it was already out on DVD in a Nintendo Power magazine, I didn't even know the movie happened. So I was like fucking like 11 years old.
Dang.
But like, what were you saying?
I said,
Sorry to
yeah, they
interrupt you.
came out my senior year. I seen Scott Pilgrim. I was like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
this dude simping over Ramona like this for real. That's crazy.
He's just like me. He's just like me.
He,
Nah, it
he
wasn't.
was not like me.
Yeah, at all. I was like, nah.
He's like me, only I like women 18 and older. So
I was on that Wallace lifestyle.
Bum, bum, bum. You are Wallace. You're Wallace.
But
No.
You're Wallace.
I thought Kim Pines was the better choice, but that's just me
yeah, he fucked up.
throwing it out there. He fucked it up with Kim.
Mm-hmm.
She was really ride or die, but he said no.
That new
I mean-
that new Scott Pilgrim series is gonna show people how much of a complete fuckhead Scott is. Again,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly. We love it. It's so, you know what's really weird? It's really weird that the show is taking place still in like the 2000s.
Yeah.
Normally I would like love that because I love it when, like, for example, the Peanuts movie stays like timeless or something.
Yeah.
With Scott Pilgrim, with a work that is like ahead of its time, I find it. With Clona High, for example, I hated how modern it was. With Scott Pilgrim, I feel like that is a series that could like work if you had the characters just having, as a matter of fact, way holding iPhones, but also being poor as shit. I feel like that could like just work. I feel like it's weird they kept it in the 2000s.
That's a fair point with Clone High, because like I mean, as a longtime fan of the original, I found it really bizarre seeing those characters who are like Clone High by design is a parody of like 2000s teen dramas, right?
Yeah.
So to see those characters just kind of like plopped into modern day, but they still look and act like themselves, you know.
In a way, it's not even like
worse.
even like a parody.
Yeah,
it's not even like a parody of anything, and it's to a point too. It's not just that they use iPhones or anything. It's that they use it to a point where it's obnoxious.
Yeah.
And it's like, fucking Christ.
Well, they
it's
use it as like a
goddamn
writing
phone.
crutch, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's not that special of like a thing that the characters have iPhones and go on TikTok. It's so pandering.
Mm-hmm.
When even though like a lot of the pandering era is like outdated too, because a lot of that was like years ago.
I was gonna say a good movie where they put them in modern examples is I watched that new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle on Paramount, and
I need to watch that. I heard that was good.
That's good. Like they say stuff like Riz and No Cap, but it's because they grew up in this era of turtles, and like it was really good.
That's a good way of handling it, of taking legacy characters and then just like reinterpreting them for a new generation.
I saw the clip of them saying the Aki way.
Yeah.
That's the one clip I found.
Damn.
Yeah. They're talking about we walking here. They say the Aki way.
The Aki way. Yo,
They say and they just did all the New York. They did all the New York memes.
Yeah. But it feels more like, I'm assuming it feels, I haven't seen the movie myself, but I'm assuming it feels more like actual modern New York, probably.
Yeah. If you're like around the same age as the turtles are in that movie, it would probably click a lot with you, right? You know.
Right.
But it's enjoyable enough for if you're like an old fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's not too new and like too. It's not like the Extreme He-Man series they did in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Where they had them having rollerblades and stuff. You would know about that though. That's in the old times.
Yeah.
Right. That's through the 80s did that shit too, and it was annoying then, and it's still annoying now with iPhones.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
That's very interesting you bring that up.
But like,
it's very interesting.
That's a good spot to kind of pivot on, because I wanted to ask you a bit more about like content production. Like when it comes to the content you make, like what do you do to kind of keep it fresh or engaging for yourself? And like what are some of the hurdles that you encounter as you make content?
That is a very good question. I think the big hurdle that I feel like come across is finding that mix between like what will do well, because obviously it's a job. I have to make sure the video does well. So it's finding that mix between like the hurdle of having a video do well and also having it be something that I'm passionate about too. Because like people have like sent me requests and have asked me to do requests, and some of them are niche, some of them aren't. I'm very picky when it comes to requests because some of them are stuff that I would love to do, but also it's like, well, I also want to make sure that everyone can enjoy this and everyone will click on it and be interested in it. So it's the challenge is always finding that mix of something that will always push me forward and also like do well too. Like again, I feel like the perfect kind of timing, but I feel like the two moments that were perfectly timed were the Goodbye Volcano High video and the Clone High reboot, because those were just like those were videos that I those came out at perfect times, did extremely well, and I was passionate about them, very passionate,
Right.
because like I hated both of those, but I thought they were dog shit, but I'm like, man, these would make for like good ass videos.
Yeah.
These would make for some interesting videos I can talk about. So to me, that's like how you do it to me.
Yeah, right.
So
So you
Yeah.
kind of found something that like was interesting to you, even though you might not like it.
yeah, it intersected
Yeah.
with it intersected with like, well, it doesn't matter what most of the shit I review I don't like.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest, like negativity. I like reviewing dog shit. Honestly, I love it. I've always wanted to do it. I love doing it. People think that I don't love doing it. No, I love reviewing shit. I love getting angry at like dumb shit because it's fun. Honestly,
I always kind of got that vibe that was like that guy with the glasses where you're playing like an
Yeah.
exaggerated version of yourself.
exactly. Yeah, it's exaggeration. I'm playing up. I don't. People are like, you have. Some people like in my comments, you have anger issues. Like, no, I don't. I really fucking don't. People that know me in real life know that I do not act the way that I do in videos.
How could you get this mad at a cartoon?
Why are you so pressed
Yeah.
about a cartoon, bro?
Even in like, no, dude, like even in the fucking like comments videos and on like Twitter and shit, I'm still like playing shit up. Like it's still like kind of fake.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
wrestling in a
Well,
way.
yeah,
where
because
it's
that
like,
shit's funny. Yeah,
Wait,
you're playing the
wrestling
character.
fake?
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. I'm sorry,
Damn.
Zuki.
what?
I gotta leave now.
Yeah,
Wrestling's
wrestling's apparently fake. I'm
Oh,
My
yeah,
whole life.
I'm sorry. Sorry to tell you. Sorry to inform you.
fake. You telling me Vince McMahon didn't blow up in that limo?
He showed up later. You know this.
Yes, I know.
So, kind of off of that, because you did a good job sort of segueing into my next point. It's like, when it comes to fans or viewers, like, what are some things that you saw significant pushback on? Like, I mean, when I think of you having a kind of divisive reaction, I think of Life is Strange, right? Where some people were like, "Oh man, this guy hates this great game," and other people kind of understood that this was a half-baked video game franchise.
Yeah. I think the big thing is a big majority of people that are divisive about it. When I say that my videos can be divisive, it's mostly within the context of like general people that aren't necessarily fans of me as well.
Right.
So with something like for example like the Life is Strange video, that was a more, I guess, divisive video because people do have a connection to Life is Strange.
Yeah.
But most of the people that didn't like my video or hated on me for it were people that were Life is Strange fans, not fans of me, right?
And to be fair about Life is Strange, I noticed a lot of the fan base don't even like the game. They like the idea of Chloe and Max being able to get together at the end. Because if they like those games have a lot more players. Because didn't nobody play the second or third one of those series.
God damn, my man's spitting.
spitting. But yeah, that's so true. That's so true. I feel like with like divisive videos, again, a lot of the opinions are like from people that don't really watch me. And even then, like I've made it pretty clear that I don't really care if someone disagrees with me. Because in the end, it's like, who gives a fuck? Like enjoy what you in the end. Like if you disagree with my video and you like the thing that I don't like, or if you dislike the thing that I do, which for the most part, it's like for the most part, it's obviously people like the things that I don't like. A good majority of my audience are, I feel like, mature enough to know, hey, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
It's like fictional work.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm like trying to disregard the thing as art, because I still try and come from the perspective of like, it's just bad art, but it's still art in the end,
Right.
even as harsh as it can be.
Or it's like, yeah, it can be appreciated in some ways, but it's flawed in others. Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, like a lot of pushback from my own audience, I honestly haven't really noticed it, if it even does exist. A lot, because like honestly, I feel like a large chunk of my audience is shockingly mature enough to know the difference. So, which is good. That's good. I like that. But I haven't encountered a whole lot of people that have gotten mad at me because I said, oh, this thing that you like, it sucks, and you should feel bad for it. No, I don't. It's like I don't try and do that, and it's like, who cares? Maybe I'll be a bit facetious and joke around and be a bit of a dick sometimes, but I don't really mean it that much. It's like, enjoy what you want. If you enjoy Clone High Season 2 or Goodbye Volcano High or Pac-Man or whatever, like who gives a shit? I'm just making funny videos in the end. So
yeah, it truly is not that deep. Like
yeah. In the end, like at the bottom line too, I just make funny video. I know I talk like a big talk and shit, but I also just, bottom line is I just want to be funny too. That's the big thing as well. I just want to be funny.
Yeah.
So
No, I got you.
Yeah. When it comes to a lot of like pushback stuff, I don't really notice it if it does ever happen, because it's like, I'm just doing me at the end of the day, and I make it pretty clear that I'm just doing me. So,
hell yeah, no, I think that's a really good attitude. That like you just kind of know that you're making something, you want it to be entertaining, you want it to appeal to an audience, and whatever happens. So no,
exactly.
That.
Yeah. That's hard.
Exactly.
Now it's Klonoa time now, man. We gotta talk about video games. So obviously,
fuck yes.
you like many video games. Klonoa being one of them. But like, what are some?
I'm a gamer. I hate video games.
Yeah, that's right. You're a gamer, so you don't like video games.
I hate video games. Fuck video games. They suck.
But like,
Klonoa appeal to you?
Oh shit! Yeah. What about Klonoa is appealing?
I would love to tell you, but my video is being worked on, so you're gonna have to find out when it comes out. You're gonna have to find out.
Damn, I wasn't planning on watching that shit.
I hate to blue ball you, but I can't say anything.
Fair enough.
I cannot say anything. I probably spoiled it already, to be honest, at certain points in my life, but right now, silent. Not gonna say anything.
But like,
not gonna go in depth. I mean, because. Well, sorry to interrupt you, but that means what game did you say?
Jet Set Radio Future. Zuki was saying that was kind of his equivalent to Klonoa was Jet Set Radio Future.
Hell yeah. I need to play that game more. I didn't really grow up on that game, but I need to. I played a little bit of it. I fuck with that. I was more, when it comes to like a game like that shaped like my taste. I think of like Skate 3 as one of those kind of like fun like combo-ish games that shaped that kind of taste for me. Love Skate 3.
What about Tony Hawk? You playing any of those?
That too. Fucking love Tony Hawk.
Like Thug 1 and 2.
That's honestly though, I got into like Tony Hawk more so in a high school, so I was a bit like late to the party.
Oh, okay.
But because I'm like fucking Gen Z kind of thing in the middle. But I had like an original Xbox when I was a kid, like as a really young kid. But like the games I played were like Sonic Heroes and Cars the video game. They're low down from like my cousin. But fucking when I grew older, like I got into like Tony Hawk. I got like my Xbox hooked up, that old Xbox. More so I bought a new one. But I got into like Tony Hawk, and I would like replace the soundtrack with like death grips all the time. And
hold on, you're doing
because they had like the custom soundtrack shit. They had the custom soundtrack shit.
Those soundtracks are goated though. Tony Hawk,
true.
They are goated. They are goated. But honestly, playing Tony Hawk to death grips, man, it's different, man. Just different.
Zuki, you and I will never understand the Caucasian experience of playing Tony Hawk to death grips.
No,
it's a white thing.
You will never. You will never. It is a white thing. It's such a white thing.
Tony Hawk doesn't know this, but he literally was the reason I found out who MF Doom was because of Thug.
True,
1.
he did put a lot of people on because of Thug 1. Goddamn.
Yeah.
All caps.
That's actually fucking based. All caps when you spell the man's name, even though I fucked that up multiple times in my life.
Yeah. R.I.P. the villain.
R.I.P. Dude, R.I.P. the fucking villain. That shit like saddened me. My God.
Yeah, it was a dark day when that happened,
Yeah,
man.
he was like gone like a month before too. Jesus
I
Christ.
know.
Yeah, because when me
yeah.
and Brainz fell out, it was like a sad day though. Like, it
Yeah,
was like,
yeah. Like Zuki and I are both huge Doom fans, and like I remember,
Hell yeah.
I remember that day vividly because I just smoked a fat blunt and listened to Mad Villainy and
yeah.
Food and just like went through his discog. Like I spent the whole day doing it.
You click on my
Right.
profile, you see who I got laughing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, man, I feel like that scares me because like MF Doom, you know, I got into him more so in high school, so I was a little bit of a later bloomer
Right.
than a lot of other people, but I still really fuck with Doom. Such an influential artist, one of the best ever. Like fucking
Yeah.
Mad Villainy, Food, shit like that. Even though those are like the popular
Mhm.
ones,
Yeah.
like, but that makes me think like I grew up, you know, during the Peep, X, and Juice era, all three of those. So I grew up during like that shit, and underground artists like Six Dogs too. I grew
Yeah.
up during like when those people like passed.
Yeah.
So it makes you think, oh God, like MC Ride's up next, isn't he? Like I always think one day that's gonna happen. I'm gonna like not be prepared for it.
It's never
Man.
easy, like
Hate to be-
seeing someone like
Yeah,
you
hate to be like
care
Yeah.
about, you know, that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
hate to be like all like dark and depressing and all that, but man, that shit is gonna be like, oh my
Oh,
God.
for sure. Like it's
Nah, that's how it
For
is. though.
sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. Pour one out, man.
But like, yeah, whether like bringing it back, like, because I know you've referenced Metal Gear, you've referenced Silent Hill,
Oh yeah, I love
like
Metal Gear and Silent Hill too.
yeah, like what are
Yeah.
some of the like big games for you that you really fuck with heavy?
Oh yeah, you probably mentioned like most of them, honestly. I'm a massive like I'm one of those weird pretentious games as art people.
Mhm.
So like anything that's like a story driven thing is like for me. But like Metal Gear and like Silent Hill are like the big ones
Yeah.
for me. Those games are great. I love the Silent Hill games. The first three, 2 is even though 2 is the popular one, it's popular for a reason.
Absolutely.
Uh,
yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is a game that changed my fucking life, literally. That game changed the way I like view the world legitimately. I'm a big Kojima fan.
Uh,
It, like,
Well, how old were you when you played it?
Like
how old are
MGS,
we?
yeah, like MGS2. Like how old were you?
MGS2, fucking like I'm trying to think because it was kind of like over like a period that it changed my life almost. I'm like reflecting on it. I think like high school to college around there was
Okay.
when I really dived into it. I
I
don't
was
quite remember around there.
I was 8 when I first played that game because my uncle let me play it, and I
Yeah.
got to the point to where I had to find a dude pacemaker, and I didn't know what the hell a pacemaker was. So
Yeah.
when I got to that part, I was just hitting everybody with the AK that they gave you, and I didn't realize that Kojima predicted the future with that game.
Yeah. Well, when you're 8 years old, you probably don't understand the themes of an M-rated political thriller
Yeah,
game.
yeah. Most
But-
most 8-year-olds don't know what postmodernism is, so it might be
Yeah.
it might be lost on them.
I was welcome enough to play Metal Gear or get into Metal Gear as like an adult. So
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just saying because that's a good 2 is a really good game, and then when you get older and you play I played 2, played 3. I'm like, damn, this man was
Right.
spitting.
Yeah,
exactly, you like reinterpret shit as you get older and understand shit too.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like that happened to me like kind of with the MGS2 where I played it once as a high schooler and I kind of got it, but maybe misread it at one point. Then I got a little older, then replayed it, then went, oh, this
Mhm.
is like this is the
Oh.
thing. This is the thing.
Oh no,
So-
Kojima predicted Web 3.0.
Oh, he predicted NFTs. He predicted cyberness. He did predict like a lot of like the landscape of now, and it's actually fucking terrifying.
Yeah, yeah. For when that game came out, and like, you know, Metal Gear Solid 2 was like one of those games where the audience was quite split compared to MGS3. And then
Yeah,
it
the audience-
eventually found its audience, and people like now revere it as like a true masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I remember those times that's like, you don't play a snake? What? This game sucks.
yeah. The audience didn't quite get it either because
Yeah.
most of them probably like wouldn't beat the game or didn't quite get what it was trying to say because a lot of them just played games as like a pastime.
Yeah.
But now that like I feel like the game has had enough like breathing room, it's like been reinterpreted
Yeah, that's
as like what it should be.
yeah, that's
like,
like a true testament to like what you were saying, like with art, where it can
Exactly.
be understood on a deeper level over time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it can be re-understood too. You
Mhm.
can like reinterpret it too, and changes. Art is changing. MGS2 is I love Kojima because he is just such a personal like director and as such a personal creator. But MGS2 is like for me that kind of game that made me go, oh shit. It gave me like MGS2 is one of those existential crisis games where I'm like, man, I don't know who the fuck I am anymore, but man, my life has changed now. Like it changed me like as a person.
Yeah.
And it really is like I love the developments, not to spoil anything for anybody else. I'm trying not to be like too
I know,
vague.
the collection's
but-
coming out.
but-
We can't say that much.
yeah, I'm gonna be fucking playing that shit.
Hell yeah.
I want to do a video on it. I hope that there's enough demand for it. If there is a demand, I'll do it.
If you're passionate about it, I think you should do it anyway because you seem very passionate about it.
Oh,
and like,
Oh, for
fuck
sure, yeah.
fuck
yeah, you should just do it, in my opinion.
Fuck yeah. Fuck it. The issue is that if I made a Metal Gear video, I don't know. I tend to both underestimate and overestimate how a video is made.
Right.
But I feel like a Metal Gear video, I feel like every segment that I make on that, if I just do like the first 3 games in the collection, 1, 2, and 3, each game will probably take like 20-30 minutes of like talking about it.
Like
That
you might want to
it's
do
just
that
like
in parts, maybe. Like I don't know how you'd want to approach it.
I'm thinking I want to do a massive video because I want to like transition to like more bigger videos, but at the same time, like Metal Gear is like that's gonna be like I feel like that'd be like an hour-long video for me. Who knows? 'Cause
Yeah.
there's a lot. There is a lot
There's
I want to
even-
unpack.
The 2D games too that are significant to the first 3 because you got to go over the stuff that Boss did in the 2D, that Snake did in the 2D
Metal
game.
Gear 1 and
I
2.
wouldn't even. I probably wouldn't even go into all that at all. I would just go over like the Metal Gear games alone, like the solid games alone. Just the first 3 would take a long time to do, and I would know because I would know this. I would want to make a video that's pretty like complex or like feels like it feels like the journey of the game.
Right.
I would want to like replicate that. And to do that, I would also want to maybe talk about 4 as well. Because the big thing that I would want to do like with a Metal Gear video, not to spoil a potential one if I would ever make one, but I would want to go in depth through like this entire emotional journey that the games took me on.
Yeah.
And that would be like the 4 games all in a concise package. And that would be like that would be like how I interpret it as like those 4 games. And that would be like a 2-hour video probably. Because there would be so much.
Well,
to
yeah,
fucking cover.
there's a ton to go over.
Yeah, it's fucking Metal Gear first of all, but also just like I would want to go over like what these games mean on a more like personal level too. And I would love to do it. It'd be amazing. But it would take so fucking long.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
But I would want to do it. I would absolutely want to do it. And I am going to play the collection, which means I will definitely record the footage. I'll record the footage at least, and then I can maybe think about it.
So now, Dums, would you say, in your personal opinion, that all black is the perfect attire?
True.
Okay.
True.
So that brings us to the next
True.
line of our questioning. We have to alienate our audience further.
Let's go.
And we have to talk about Opium.
Vamp
We got to
shit.
talk about Carti. We got to talk about Vamp shit.
Vamp shit.
So what got you into like Carti specifically? Because like the thing I've noticed with like Carti fans is they're borderline segregated from a lot of hip hop fans. Like he's got a very cult audience.
Autistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're incredibly autistic. That's what you mean by that, right?
I do mean that, but I was using gentler language.
Yeah.
But they're like
Why-
they're
well,
very
I'm
divested from the rest of
Well,
rap.
I'm part of the community, so I'll say it for you. Don't you worry. I'll say it for you, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
They'll honestly, they'll agree with you anyways.
Yeah.
I can't
True.
cancel me if I'm right.
True.
Can't cancel me if I'm right.
Damn.
Do you own
You
a
got
pair
it.
of Ricks, my
No.
friend? Do you have Geo
you have a pair of
baskets?
Ricks?
Not yet.
Don't
No.
don't spend
Not yet.
$1,200 on shoes, man.
You know what? I fucking sick New World.
Mm.
So like, honestly, behind the scenes, I'm a little emo boy. Ooh woo. X3, Roar X3. But like IRL, I'm kind of like an alt person.
Yeah.
Like you've seen the way like I dress and shit. Like I am like, I do like have that all black fit, perfect attire. But I have my friend Melina, one of my best friends. She's from California. She's like a she used to be a punk, then she transitioned to goth, but she's definitely alt.
Right.
She took me like underground shows and shit, and we went to Sick New World together. There was a goth club. There was like a Sisters of Mercy like club night going on. That was also where I met Neopunk FM. You know who those guys are?
No.
Oh fuck, you don't know who Neopunk FM are? Oh, shout out to Neopunk FM. They're for like chronically online music people. They do like videos interviewing like concert goers.
Oh, okay.
They do videos on like music and shit. They have a video called like "Why Are Kids Falling Asleep at This Concert?" talking about like Joey and whatnot.
Mm.
But I met them at Sick New World, and I became friends with them. They're fucking awesome. I love them. But TLDR, Melina and I split off. I went with Neopunk to I forget why I left with them. I think it's because I just left earlier to go to the club first.
Okay.
But I went to like this goth club with them to meet Melina there. And we walk in. It's me and Neopunk. We're walking around, and there's a bunch of goth people there, right? Like even me, like little emo boy. I look like a fucking like Tony Hawk Pro Skater character. Like I look like this while I'm walking around like a bunch of like Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack Skellington, Tim Burton people. That's what it feels like. It's like a Tony Hawk skater in like a sea of Tim Burtons. But it was sick though. It was fucking. I loved it. I loved it. But there were these two people there was a couple that I met there. Fucking great people, by the way. Still friends with them. I still like text them. They're like Death Grips fans and shit. But the guy was like wearing like Rick Owens,
Yeah.
like the fucking big boots with the white like Pentagon laces on him and shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, those are.
And
Were they the ones that kind of look like Chucks, or did they have the big tongue?
they were like big old boots. They were like went up to like your fucking ankle.
Okay, well
Like,
then those were
looks like
those were
me.
probably the Ramones if they had like a white bottom or something.
Yeah, did they
Yeah.
have the white bottom?
I forget, but they like the white like lace on them
Okay,
and shit.
yeah.
But it was like they're like massive boots, like your like leg and shit. But Neopunk, one of the guys from Neopunk, Johnny, he goes, "Yo, dude, are those Ricks?" And he goes like, "Yeah, these are Ricks, dude." And turns out they were reps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because like they're fucking like actual Ricks are fucking expensive.
Oh.
But-
oh yeah.
Yeah, super expensive. But that goes to show me, like people that are actually like part of the goth scene buy reps.
Everybody
You,
buys reps.
yeah, you have
If you're
to.
not a rapper, you're buying reps.
Yeah,
Be real.
or you're borrowing shit. Yeah, it's like real.
You have to
Yeah.
you have to actually be like fucking Trent Reznor or Destroy Lonely to buy like actual Rick Owens.
Well, yeah, Rick,
What?
like Rick's are like. Well, firstly, I'll say the shoes are the cheapest items,
Yeah, shoes are the cheapest.
and
yeah.
they're like 12 to
I was thinking, like,
1,500.
I was thinking of like getting like some of the Converse or something, which are like 500 or something, I think. Which
Man.
is
Or like, I mean, Dark Shadow's a little more affordable, but don't buy Rick. Come on,
Dude,
by the
okay, I'm
by the rep.
buy the
Just
rep
one
if you're
pair.
gonna buy it.
Hey,
Just
Dumbs,
buy-
I'm gonna keep
that
it
is true.
real with you. The best time to get Rick was like in 2014.
It was like a
before this
decade
shit
ago,
got
yeah.
big. Yeah,
like
it's over now.
for real. Like,
over. By the reps. Just don't tell anyone.
yeah, like let's keep
Or
it a buck. Like Rick,
tell people. They'll understand.
Rick Owens has been making clothing for 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
And like these
Yeah.
niggas just caught up. Like gay people
And
being
even
dressing like vampires this whole time.
It's
True.
not that plus
gonna-
all
gonna
the
write this
hype
down.
beast kids decide to become emos because back in the day it was hype beast
Yeah.
shit. They got oversaturated and murdered. Now they're going after the alternative Rick Owens stuff.
I mean,
now.
Rick
So
shit
it's
is
like,
hard
yeah.
though. Like, oh, you could.
Yeah, no.
Rick
You
is
know what
hard.
I will say though is you could always get the Rick Adidas collabs if you could
Yeah.
source those for a decent price.
I could. I need to make sure it fits with my style. I feel like the big fucking boots wouldn't. Because
Yeah.
I'm like fucking. I don't dress like a goth. I'm a fucking more like emo punk area kind of thing.
That's why, like, yeah, that's why, like, the
What's
Rick
up with the
Adidas,
takeaway?
the Rick Adidas are dope because they're like
yeah.
they're still like pretty wearable silhouettes, but they still like
Yeah.
have the Rick aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
I want that Midwest emo backyard show look.
Yeah,
not
you
that,
wouldn't look
vampire
insane.
look.
You would you wouldn't look like
I
a
want-
lunatic vampire wearing those. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it's funny because like my friend Melina offered to do makeup for me, and I'm like, nah, I just want to be like a little emo boy.
Yeah.
Goths like the autistic boys. That's just what it is.
Yeah, they happily take you under their wing and you're like, oh,
Exactly.
protect,
Like my friend
protect this one.
like my friend Mango said, I am gay passing.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
As a gay man, I fucking hate that.
Now you've learned the term. Well, Mango, he is trans and gay
Oh,
as well.
I've talked to Mango. That's Neon Caffeine.
Hell yeah,
right?
this-
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you know.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Gay passing though.
Gay passing.
Damn dog.
Yeah, I didn't come up with a term. I didn't come up with it. Mango did.
That's-
I
He said
I
he
didn't say
said
it.
some fucking backhanded shit saying let's
Yeah.
change your hair or something.
He was saying. What was funny? He was saying it trying to rizz me up. Not to go
That's
too into
brutal.
what happened.
I'm fucking dying.
That's like anti-riz.
I think honestly, maybe it. I don't know. Maybe it worked. I don't fucking know. Maybe it didn't.
He seems like a very good friend.
He's one of my besties. Shout out to Mango. He's one of my homies. I love Mango so much. He's a real homie.
On that, I know this is going to be a hilarious transition.
Yeah. let's hear
Keyword
it.
transition. You are a fairly vocal ally of like the trans community. You have trans friends.
Fuck yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and you've used your platform to be like pretty open about that.
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah, it's
you and I talked about how fucking people on Twitter or X rather are kind of cornballs
Yeah.
about that shit. Like,
Yeah. I mean, like, it's kind of weird that people do get upset over it because really, I'm not saying anything that, like, super. People act like I'm a fucking commie or something when I say it. And it's like, most of the shit is like me just kind of going, hey, what the fuck are these people talking about?
these people
you know what
are
I mean?
cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, like to me, it's like I don't give a shit what people are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally, like people should just be with whatever the fuck they want to be, and there's something more complicated about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I'm very. People think that again. People look at that like me saying I think trans people deserve equal rights, like basic human rights, and they go like, so you believe in like communism? You're like a SJW cuck. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I said the most basic,
Like people should
basic thing,
people should
yeah.
have like inalienable rights. And
Yeah, like
Yeah.
people should
treated
have
well.
like universal rights for
Yeah.
everybody and be treated the way you wish to be treated, like basic shit. Like
yeah.
communists.
well, I said
people-
that's one concept.
Yeah, genuinely, people act like I think I should be praised for like people think that I think that I should be praised for saying the shit that I do. I really don't. If anything, I don't want to be praised for it because it's so
Well, yeah,
basic.
Right.
It just be,
You know what I
be
mean?
Basic all around. Everybody should be
Yeah.
treated like equally. Like
Yeah.
the fuck?
If I'm being praised for saying that I think gay people and trans people and people under the queer umbrella are cool people, if I'm being praised for that, that means we're kind of fucked as a Joker society. 'Cause
Yeah.
that means we haven't
Yeah.
truly accepted them as normal people. You know what I
Factually,
mean?
like
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
runs contrary to like the idea of like just like equity among people, right?
Mhm.
You know, that
right.
people come from different experiences. People, you know, whether it is like you're racialized, you're queer, you're gay, you're trans, whatever it may be, you should at least have the very basics of respect and equitable treatment as a human being.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
yeah, and people hate that, I guess. I don't know.
I'm not nearly as like wordy about it. For a lot of it's weird because like for a lot of like artsier stuff, I get because I am more passionate. I guess I think
Right.
I get more big wordy about it, like nuance and when I use all the big artsy words.
Yeah.
With politics, I'm kind of or anything political, quote unquote. Even though I really don't think that people that are on that are queer are a political issue that much.
Yeah.
The only thing queer about it is that it has to do with law and whatnot, which it really shouldn't, because they're just human beings aren't political.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's like I don't like being so cutesy about it. I just like being blunt, and my blunt opinion is people should just like be themselves. Who gives a shit? I just don't really,
And that's how you should
well,
be.
no,
Like,
exactly. It's how it should be. Nobody should be. Nobody should be like dick road for it. You know what I mean? Like,
it shouldn't be something where you're commended for feeling a certain way, but conversely, you also shouldn't be chastised for just saying, you know, this is how people should be treated.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
It goes both ways. It goes fucking both ways. Like it's weird. It's kind of like it. Again, I grew up like around like I grew up with like 40 or 50-year-old like parents, right? And so I went to like their church or whatnot. My mom's a little special, but they're like certain like white people. My mom's kind of one of them who will like kind of overcompensate that they're not bigoted. They'll be like, I love the black race or whatnot. They'll keep saying it. It's like
me and Brainz have PhDs in this. We know about this.
Sadly,
yes. You guys know. Oh my god, you guys fucking know. Oh my god, you guys know better than that. You know better than me. I'm fucking whitey,
the black race.
Oh
yeah,
love blacks.
I love that fried.
Yeah, the music, boom, boom, ka, boom, boom. Oh, I love that kind of music.
I can get with it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Cool Mo D really like him. Yeah.
They tend to like it's like the movie Get Out. I would have voted for Obama for a third term. That movie?
Yeah, I actually heard that shit before in real life, but
oh my god,
the worst one is when the whipping and Nene was fucking popular, and I'm hip with.
I'm so sorry on behalf of my whole race. I'm so sorry.
Nah, you can't apologize for that because you had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, man. It's like you don't have to take the onus for people being stupid.
No, but this is my reparations. This is my reparations for the whipping, Nene. Listen, this is for the whipping.
Look, the fact that dude tried to off his own cousin and ruin his
Silento,
Silento, crazy.
Yeah,
exactly. But it's kind of like people tend to overcompensate being pro equality, and it's like you don't fucking need to do that. Just treat people like regular people.
Yeah, just
and you won't
just be normal, man. Like
exactly. You
don't have to be an extreme. Like I find a lot of people will occupy one extreme or the other.
Oh, fucking totally.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that. And they'll try and label you as an extreme too, where it's like you're either like this or that. It's like, I don't want to. I'm not a fucking. I'm just a regular.
You're just being moderate. Yeah, you're just being like a totally reasonable person.
Yeah, what I'm saying isn't even that extreme. Like I'm just saying like it's stuff that's like fairly moderate, and people go off the fucking wazoo.
Well, it's like.
Oh, go ahead, Zuki.
I was gonna say it's like that Steven Universe commercial where Garnet was like, "Don't be racist," and they're trying to push a political.
The one where the kids like
people,
white people. That fucking one.
Yeah, she's just like, "Kids, don't be racist," and that was the whole message.
That's precisely how you don't get that point across.
Well, you know what? It's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts.
It's like you shouldn't be racist, but you should probably figure that out yourself. You don't need a cartoon space to tell you.
Told me not to be racist, so I'm no longer racist. Thanks, Black Space Mom.
You just throw the hood and the robes and the garbage and go, you know what? I'm done.
I was gonna go to the Klan rally, but Garnet told me don't do it. And I love that space.
I love that. I love that. That Space Rock. She's cool. So yeah, because I was gonna say though, Dumps, like especially with like your friend and collaborator Butters, who's great.
Butters, yeah.
Like she's very funny, and yeah, I like her videos a lot. And like just the horrible things that people say to her. It's terrible.
Awful, yeah. It's fucking crazy because like she like I used to be a lot more conservative. Way older videos reflect that. I was more conservative leaning at one point. I obviously I respected people. I didn't go up to like a trans person and call them the F slur. That's fucking don't fucking do that. But like I was more conservative leaning at a point. And funny enough, like talking to Butters was at 1.2 before she became trans. And not to diverge her personal life or anything, but she's like, we had like a mutual agreement and understanding. I mean, a mutual understanding of that. So really, like to me, a lot of what converted me like away from what I grew up on was just not even talking politics or talking about like anything like political, like about rights or anything. It was just playing like dumb video games with like trans people. That's it.
Just
it's like a lot
getting
of
to know someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a lot of people when they go to college and they get around diverse people, they realize the shit that they grew up with was, I'm only like this because this is the shit I grew up with. I've never seen the other point of view. A lot of times it's just exposure.
I was always like, it was always crazy because like I grew up too going like, if you go to like a liberal college, you're going to be indoctrinated into the woke agenda. And it's like, then I didn't even, dude, I fucking like dropped out of like 1 year of public college and barely talked to anyone. But like, it was just the fucking internet, just meeting people on the internet that were so different from me.
Right.
It just made me go like, these people are, they're just living their day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
They don't want anything fucking special. They just want like equal rights and shit. Like, who gives a fuck?
Just it just kind of gave you that like perspective that these people are just regular ass people.
They're just people. They're just trying to get through their day and don't want to have any hassle.
Exactly. And all of this I should not be praised for saying because this is basic fucking knowledge.
Yeah, actually,
you have to. No, but you got to understand you're a talking head on the internet, and if you say the thing that should be basic knowledge, you can get acknowledged for it, even though, treat everybody with respect. It's like a basic rule that people learn in like kindergarten.
Yeah, buddy, it serves you right for being popular on the internet. Where do you get off?
That's true. Oftentimes I forget just how famous I am sometimes, so people will know who I am, and I'll just assume they don't, but then they actually do, and it's like, oh, what the fuck? I'm so used to like, I'm too used to not being as well known as I am now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I sometimes forget just how popular I actually am, and so when I say shit that's like pretty basic or innocuous, it might come off as more shocking because I'm someone popular saying it.
Because you have like a platform, you have a notable name.
A platform and
exactly, and it's like it's weird that some people try and like literally like take me down literally. Not to go too deep into what like certain things, but some people will try and like take me down or knock me down a peg for it. And it's like, what are you trying to accomplish? I'm not going to harm anybody. I'm not going to reinstate any laws or anything.
I mean,
like I'm just like,
it's because you have clout and they can like talk to you directly through your Twitter.
Yeah, they just want to laugh at you publicly and bully you and like scare you. That's all.
That is a shame that people feel the need to like go, oh, this person's doing something that they like in their life and they have opinions. Let me take them down. Let me try and debase them or put them in a bad position because it'll make me feel better.
You feel how I feel. Yeah.
It's not just that. Like, it would be one thing if someone just didn't like me for one reason or another. What's another thing that you prefer to like try and laugh at me or bully me instead of like trying to make something of yourself? Like, I've like spent years trying to do that,
Right.
But my whole film review era was like, and I used to do commentary, not to like get too deep into it. I don't like to talk about it too much, but I used to do commentary videos. I get it. I was angry at one point too. I liked taking shit out on people, but like once it gets a toll on you, you just don't like bullying people anymore. And it's way more positive and way more fulfilling to just make something of yourself instead. Like there's the power fantasy of bullying is so fleeting and fake. And it's like the real shit is like making something of yourself and realizing that everyone just has their own life, and just realizing that some people need more help than others. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you can use, whatever size your platform may be, you can use that to be transformative and positive rather than like perpetuating negativity or trying to like make yourself feel better by being negative, right? It's not conducive of anything. Like, for the litany of like 10, 20 commentary videos ripping on some people or whatever, you can make one video about something you're passionate about, and you might take away a lot more from that.
Right, exactly. I fully agree with that. I think that people should just make something of themselves first and foremost, because then, like, it's more so like I think I show more online that gets me more than it actually does. I more so act like it does more than it actually does, because it really I kind of feel like no matter what I say online, I'm still under like I just tend to respond to a lot because I'm a little bit chronically online TBH. But like honestly, like I'm not nearly as angry about it as I may look like I am, because in the end, I still know that I've done something that a lot of people can't accomplish, or not can't, but won't accomplish.
Yeah.
Which is that I've made something of myself. I'm not some ultra genius like next level person or anything. I'm not like a god amongst men. But what I am is someone who like made something of himself, and someone who expresses himself and it has that as his job, and people don't really want to do that. They don't want to put in the effort to do that,
Yeah, I got you. Like that, as long as you know, like, hey, you got it, you did this, you came up on yourself, and you know yourself better than the talking heads online are just that talking heads, honestly, at the end of the day, because a lot of the times the people who are on that type of time, they literally go and look at stuff that they hate, know that gets them mad because that's the only thing they
they're
got
like
really left.
they're like choosing to pursue things that make them mad.
Like you should, in my opinion, you should be your own talking head. If you don't like a talking head, be your own talking head.
Yeah,
Take
like,
influence.
Yeah,
you can
'cause,
take you can kind of like take influence from a lot of people, and I'm trying to like get over a lot of the like parasocial beef I used to have back in the day with certain people, because it's like that shit just wastes time. It doesn't really add anything to you.
yeah.
So
Like, I think it also depends on the like environment, because like where I'm from, like me and Brain's time, like beef was handled way different than it is now. Like,
yeah.
like beef could wind up somebody not being on this earth no more.
Factually.
Exactly.
It's like
The back video or something.
Like you basically should kind of count your blessings that it's not the way it could be,
Yeah,
these Twitter kids just don't get it, man. They don't get it.
Yeah, because from where I'm from, beef, like someone could not be here no more. Just
exactly.
if it got to that point, versus like, I don't like you, thumbs down, boo, tomato, tomato.
Now, like,
right.
I got now this might be something that like, and forgive me if this crosses any boundaries or it's something you want to shy away from, but like, we've obviously made some allusions regarding ASD and autism, and it's something that you've spent your life with, right? Like you've navigated being high functioning. Like,
dang shit.
How have you found that has affected, your flourishing in social environments, you're making content, you're like choosing to pursue this career of content creation and like all the things it entails?
Well, socially, I'm still kind of learning, I guess. Socially, I'm still figuring that part out. But I think socially speaking, like I feel like a lot of people that I want to appeal to, like I think there's the people that there's my content, and then there's the social life. The social life, still figuring that out, to be honest.
Right.
But I think everyone, whether you're autistic or not, is still figuring that out. It's just for me, it's a little bit harder. But I think I'm at the point where I've kind of embraced myself to where it's like, I have like I like translating that to make myself interesting, you know, and
Yeah, I got you.
making myself like that's the big thing. I think when it comes to just when it comes to autism, and I'm very open about it. Like I feel like I'm very open,
Mhm.
eh, in like a very like in a very nonchalant way. I don't feel like I'm special because of it. You know, I mean, I guess I am. I guess I am special, but I don't want to. I don't want to be seen as like the autistic guy, or more so just as someone who just so happens
But
to
like
have it. But
you're willing to discuss it. And,
I am
Yeah.
willing to be open about it. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like too many people that are on the spectrum, and this makes me very sad. A lot of
Yeah.
people that are on the spectrum make their personality autism, and I have ADHD
yeah.
too.
Mhm.
So they make it like they make that their forefront of their personality.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like what were we saying?
I said, yeah, I kind of noticed that online too. Like as
Mhm.
soon as they like on the spectrum, they just like make that their whole personality is like, I get it,
Right.
like, but
Right.
I know there's surely something more interesting about you than just that.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm. I don't want to judge people for you know like embracing it a different way from me, because that's like, you know, that's like a
yeah,
dickhead thing to do, but it does make me like kind of sad to see a lot of like autistic people and people with ADHD and whatnot, and people just any mental illness make that the forefront of their personality
Mhm.
instead of like putting the forefront like and in my opinion, like it's not that you have to downplay it or anything. It is a part of you,
Yeah.
but it's not the whole you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So for me, like when it goes back to like my video making and everything. My video making, it's very obvious that a lot of my, I guess, disabilities are like translated into that. They're translated into what I do online,
Mm.
which is, you know, YouTube
Right.
videos. So in a way, what you have to do is turn your disability into an ability. Know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I
So
got you.
Like,
it's like,
oh, sorry, man. I
yeah,
didn't mean to
oh
cut you
no,
off
no
there.
problem. No. It's cool. It's cool. Um, it's just like it's very hard to do, and I get it because it takes a lot of time. I'm someone who was blessed with having like early intervention and whatnot. A
Mhm.
lot of people don't.
Yeah,
So but there are people that don't have that blessing at all.
Mm.
And so but I still don't think that should stop you from just trying to make something that is fulfilling to yourself emotionally, you know, or that shouldn't stop you from achieving some sort of dream. I think the thing is you have to figure out what those dreams are and what context those dreams will be in. Like one of my favorite internet figures of all time is Ricky Berwick, right?
Mhm.
yeah,
Uh he's fucking he's crippled, right?
yeah.
He's definitely disabled. And that motherfucker is one of the funniest
Funniest
people.
motherfucker.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's one of the funniest fuckers on this platform.
Right.
That tells me like that dude is inspiring too, because that
yeah.
dude turned a disability into
Into an
like an
ability.
ability,
Mhm.
you know. And honest to God, like it may suck. It like, not to downplay. That's like the best thing ever to happen or anything. But you know what? You know what? For me, I don't know if Ricky would say this. You know, I don't want to speak on behalf of him because he's a whole different person. But for me, like I've grown to the point where like I am happy with the fact I'm like not to the point where I'm like praising myself for it. It's not something to like be like dick road or anything. But I'm like proud of the fact that I am on the spectrum, that I have ADHD and whatnot. You know, like because it fuels what I do. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't be who I am. You know, it's me.
So
Gotcha.
the
So
thing, like I've heard from many like mental health professionals, with any challenge or anything you've had to work
yeah,
around, is that you don't necessarily downplay the diagnosis, but you reinterpret it, right? So like instead of
exactly,
saying like
exactly,
I was diagnosed with ASD, or I'm high functioning autistic, you might
right.
say I live with autism. And
Yeah,
that's a way to like acknowledge that that's a part of your life, but it also
Mhm.
isn't your definition or your script. Like
right.
getting the
Exactly.
diagnosis that like I have bipolar disorder versus saying like I live with bipolar 1,
Bipolar.
right?
Yeah,
Is you
Yeah.
have effectively worked around your life despite that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think when a lot of people can get very hung up saying, this is what it is. This is who I am. I am the autistic man. I am the autistic woman. That's who I am. Rather than I am a person who has autism.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's just inspiring, just like, because I know, like, just doing this, I met a lot of people that I knew.
You're online, you're going to meet a lot of them, to be honest.
Yeah, like, but you got to think, I'm like, just a hood dude. I'm just like, on the line, I'm like, man, this is crazy, all the stuff that's just out here.
Yeah.
And just how it's, like, people, different point of views, you reach out into exposing people to different stuff, just consistently through the show. So, like, just meeting people and their experiences, like, yeah, it's a lot that we have in common versus what we have not in common.
Absolutely.
A lot of the time, you talk to these people.
Yeah, but I think that's very resonant. Once you said there, Dumbs, it's like you are a person who has a perspective that comes from that experience and from living with autism, but you're not defined by your autism. But at the same time, it's changed your perspective. It's made you the person you are in a lot of ways too.
I guess I don't know if I would say like change, because I've lived with it.
Well,
for my entire,
there was no change, but you have a different perspective. Rather,
the change that I have had, because when I was like a kid, I used to have it like way worse. If you met me when I was like 11 or something, I was like a fireball, like of like energy, dude. I was obnoxious as fuck, but being like nowadays, like I feel like with me, the thing that's really changed about me, and I've gone through the whole like arc of like hating myself for it, and I'm fully over that.
Yeah.
I think at this point, as someone who's kind of been through all the kind of autistic arcs I can think of, or like the big ones for me, I think like a lot of the biggest thing is just being able to make it not define you, but have it like push you.
Right.
Again, like I think of like some of my favorite figures in like the industry, like entertainment industry or the art industry or whatnot. I think of like Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
He has autism, and he made fucking Ghostbusters, because he was hyper fixated on ghosts.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I don't take it too seriously either, because like I feel like if I take what I have like too seriously, I feel like I'm just going to give it the power that this is obviously my way of thinking about it. But if I take my shit like too seriously, like I'm all like low and down about it, I'm not going to be able to like truly embrace it. It's just going to be like a burden, like a tumor on me, but it's not a fucking tumor. It's not like a fucking, it's not going to kill me or anything. It just makes me kind of,
but everyone's different. So
yeah. I mean, like it's more complicated than just different, obviously, but you know what I get what you mean. It's like,
I got you.
Yeah, it's like for me, it's like it's part of who I am, and it's like I love like I'm very proud of it. Funny enough, one time a long time ago, I was like arguing with transphobes on Twitter, and I mentioned like I had autism before. Weirdly enough, like discussions around the R slur and people saying that like people getting mad at me for not being able to say it or something makes me feel more like I'm getting kind of like, it makes me feel bad about having autism, because it's like, well, I didn't spend years embracing myself to be told there's something that I can't embrace.
Right.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, there was one time, ironically enough, there was one time I was arguing with transphobes, yada yada. Some guy said that my autism was like a curse from God.
Oh, those
listen though. When he said that, I felt fucking amazing about having it, honestly, because that forced me to think about like my YouTube channel and shit. I'm like, if this is a curse, it's a pretty damn good a curse.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I was playing Jesus, like I am a god and shit. I was like, that's my superpower. I'm a superhero. It made me. It's weird that an insult like that made me feel better about it. I don't know if that's like supposed to happen or anything.
Yeah.
Hey, no,
But it's like
that's
that's
cool
yeah,
though. You took his insult and he's like, nah, you just gave me power, bro.
Right.
You gave me
exactly.
inspiration.
That's
Like, yeah.
exactly. People have honestly, I don't know if people have the energy to do that, and honestly, I don't want it to happen to me all the time. But it's like you got to be able to.
That's
do that,
I
man.
mean, that's a really wonderful way of interpreting that though. That like
Yeah.
you went, if that's how you see it, I've succeeded beyond.
Yeah,
this.
exactly. Higher level of thinking.
Yeah, no, that's
higher plane.
No, that's a dope mindset, man. Real talk.
Man,
Like,
yeah.
that's really cool.
Man,
Yeah, that's like. What'd you say?
I said I would have took the piss out of him, but like that does make sense why the Predator. If you think about it, the Predator from the Predator movie did want that little autistic boy for his brother.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
throwing it out there.
dude. If the Predator comes down to Earth, I'm gonna be fucked.
Yeah,
let's be
he's-
honest.
You're gonna go, okay. Find everyone in their house who has autism. We're gonna recruit him.
I don't know how to get him.
Where is Sonic Evolution?
Yeah.
We heard the guys who like the blue hedgehogs have the best brain.
Where is the anime convention? Unlimited power.
Yeah, Predators just open a Discord server and go like, the server's about Evangelion, Sonic the Hedgehog.
God, oh god. If he opens up a Genshin Impact server, it's
Oh, yeah,
fucking
it's-
over.
Oh,
Yeah,
over.
it's over. God damn.
Oh god, that shit is over. Oh my god.
Now I had a few like a last couple of questions before we wrap up here. One of the things I wanted to touch back on was like some of your post YouTube aspirations, because you mentioned like a bit of writing and like the fact
Yeah,
that you do
and
music as well. Like, you know, where do you want to kind of take things like while you make videos and maybe even beyond that? And do you think there's a balance you can strike between the two?
Good question. A lot of it is kind of I'll cross that bridge when I get there kind of thing.
Right.
Right now the only thing that I released public outside of Dumbsville is the Mass Boy X music project, my personal music.
Yeah.
Which really is not even though like it's obviously like not like comedy focused and it's more like serious and it's more like me making what I want to make. It's really emotionally speaking not that different from what I've been doing on Dumbsville. So even though it is like more of like I'm talking about like more serious shit,
Yeah.
and it is more personal, stylistically or like creatively, I mean, it's not too out of the realm. So for me, it's like right now I'm kind of doing it just to kind of express myself like a different way. But I do want to like maybe push that a little bit more, even though it might take me a while, because I am YouTube's the main focus right now. Because that's the thing that's my job right now. It's YouTube.
Right.
I'm gonna be busy for that. YouTube's
Yeah.
the main thing. But I want to like push the music a bit more. I have like a feature that I'm working on too.
Oh, don't.
Hell yeah. So I have some features, I have some projects I'm always working on. So that's like just kind of like something that I'm doing in the background. It's like a hobby thing.
No, that's crazy. I like, and I wanted to kind of say just from one musician to another, like
Hell
you
yeah.
are a very solid producer, man. Like I've heard some
Thank
of your
you,
beats,
thank
and
you.
I'm like, wow, shit, these are like good. They're not like just YouTube kind of shitpost beats. Like,
Hell yeah. The consequences of being an Opium dick writer.
but like, you know, truth be told, man, it's like cool that you clearly do take it quite seriously, even when you're having fun with
Thank
it.
you.
Like that's a part
Yeah.
of making music, is like, even if it's just
Mhm.
for laughs, it's like it's evident you work on it quite a bit. So like,
It is from a personal, I will say it is from a personal place.
yeah,
And what's the point of it? And so that's what I want to like kind of focus on too. And I'm also like I don't know when I'll fully start work on this, but I do eventually want to make my own like artistic works. I don't know what medium they'll be in, but I'm playing around with a bunch of different ones, I guess. I do want to like do like a script at some point.
Mhm.
But there are like personal like artistic like stories that I want to write. I want to be like a writer. I've always wanted to be that since I was like young.
yeah.
I want to do that. So I do eventually want to fully dedicate myself to that, but I think I need like there's a lot of stuff like stably I feel like I need for that. Mainly financially, but I feel like
Facts.
otherwise. What'd you say?
I
Sorry.
said facts. You gotta be
Yeah.
financially stable before you do anything crazy.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I do want to work on stuff that is like that is more artistically fulfilling to me. That is because I have stories that I want to work on that are I feel like I don't know if they're good or dog shit or not. That's up for the audience to decide. But I think I do have some like wild shit that's like that is kind of like pretty fucking good. Pretty fucking at least I would say so. It's at least like an expression.
Yeah.
And I do want to do that eventually. I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know how, but I do want to. And I want to do it at some point before I die. So yeah, that's what I'll say about that.
Right on. Oh, that's,
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
right on.
yeah, no,
hell
that's sick that like you having those like extra outlets, like even depending on like where YouTube takes you, right? Like
Right.
that's commendable that you just have other ways of expressing yourself, or you know, where like
Mhm.
you might be kind of more comedic or critical with your YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
You're a little more introspective with your music. You're giving yourself a
Mhm.
lot of room to be creative in different ways, which like again,
Absolutely.
I respect quite a bit because I kind of
Absolutely.
try to do the same between music and the bit of YouTube
Mhm.
stuff I do.
Absolutely. I feel like as an artist, you have to do that where you have to be like expressive in different ways.
Mhm.
That's what I hope to do with like whatever I'm writing in the future, where I have like multiple stories, like different tones and different characters. There are different things I want to cover, like emotionally. I won't spoil anything because it's still like pretty like early and whatnot. But there is some stuff that I've wanted to do for a long time, and it is stuff that is personal, and it's stuff that is that includes artistic ideas that I just feel like should be expressed. So my one hope is that as long as people out there do resonate with it, I'm pretty happy about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've done what I needed to.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I respect y'all too being creative. Like, cause I know cause I just know like that's a long, like a hard, arduous path. And like
yeah, it can
whenever
be.
people have the creative flair, I always just respect it because like you taking your emotions and you putting it into art for other people like me that aren't that creative to digest and go, damn, that's some deep shit.
Well, like you know, the couple of times when like you and I had linked up Dumbs on like music shit, I was like, yo, this guy's actually good. Like, yeah, like it was like kind of that
Yeah.
sobering moment where it was like, shit, you can
Oh,
actually
yeah.
rap and like you're making
Yeah.
like music.
Yeah.
You know, I thought you were
I've
just a
always-
YouTuber. So like,
He make music.
yeah.
Yeah, I love I've been producing like I've been experimenting with music production since like fucking like high school. I've always loved technically middle school like garage band, but I
Yeah.
really started like honing in on it with like that FL Studio trial in like fucking
Oh
high
man,
school.
that trial gets you
So-
through some bullshit, man. I was on the poverty
Yeah.
trial myself for a good chunk of time.
Yeah. Exactly. If I only problem you couldn't save any of your projects.
No,
hit,
but
like,
that
the
makes you
album,
good.
Yeah.
It makes you good because you have
Exactly,
to
it
make it
does.
count every time you do it.
Yeah, you have to make
Exactly.
that shit and have to remake it.
Yeah.
NFL.
Exactly. It makes you a faster producer
Exactly.
too, honestly.
Yeah, like no, you really cut your teeth on that. You learn a lot of like pretty
Yeah.
good stuff, knowing that you can't
Exactly.
like revise much. But
Exactly.
no, that's dope.
And that's hell yeah. I love like I've always loved making music too. I love like I just want to do more creative stuff just in general.
Hell yeah.
So that's the big thing. As long as I'm like always like doing shit, that's important. And it's not that you also are fucking into music too.
Mhm.
Like with and
Yeah.
like you're like actually like, in like the scene too, aren't you? Or like in
Well,
like,
you
a-
know, oh yeah,
kinda
yeah.
scene?
Like
Yeah.
I don't want to flex too much, but like
Yeah.
like
No,
I
I get you.
Flex 1% of your power.
all right, I'll flex a bit.
That's what
So I
flex.
worked with a bunch of people from Danny Brown's label. Like
Oh shit.
so I got a few features from them. You probably don't know this one guy, Kelly Chris. He's out of Detroit as well. He did a bunch of work
Yeah,
with
I've heard of
like
him.
Danny Brown, Earl Sweatshirt, like those guys.
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's good. But like, yeah, I don't want to say like, yeah, nigga, I made it, but like I'm in that like kind of moment in underground hip hop where I'm like starting to break in quite a bit. So
fuck, man, that's sick as fuck.
Thank you, man.
Give me some connections. Just kidding.
No.
Yo, I mean, you're one of the people I love sending beats to because you always interpret stuff in like such a cool way too. Like,
hell yeah. Keep sending me that shit. I fuck with that.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, let me maybe if I get up there, maybe some connections. Just kidding.
No, Brainz be humble though. He be nice, but he want to be all humble. Like, I'm not to toot my own horn, but yeah.
I'm the same way. I get it. You don't want to like be like,
well, it's like, yeah, I just know like I'm doing some pretty good shit musically, but like, I always want to just keep growing. Like that's the thing that always pushed me with music is like I just want to get better, and I want to keep on getting placements, keep on collaborating with people. Like I'm working on a bunch of tapes with like different underground people. So like I'm very happy where I am as a producer. And, if stuff happens, it happens. Like I made this video where I broke down like a lot of underground producers I really fuck with. And one of the producers I talked about, he commented on the video. And he's like he's like one of my favorite producers, this guy Nicholas Craven. So I was gushing about how he's like the best. Like I'm like, this guy's the fucking greatest. This is why. And then he just hits me up with the comment. And I was just like, holy fuck! He's worked with everyone I love, man. So
there reminds me of the time like Oliver Francis like DM'd me because I love Oliver Francis.
Yeah,
he's like
you used one of his songs.
Yeah, songs in my intros and shit. I love it. I couldn't use it anymore because like it got claimed. And I talked to him like. He invited me to a show like VIP list.
God damn.
Well, guest list, I mean, but I talked to him after the show and he couldn't really do anything because like of the label.
It's the label,
yeah, it's the label. But I'm like, hey man, it's all cool. But like, it was crazy meeting him and like fucking DMing him. Dude is like so fucking cool and shit. And he's one of my favorite like rappers and shit.
Yeah.
And he's what got me into like emo rap, and I wish emo rap went in that direction where it's like the more like ethereal, cloudy shit. But I love like I love a lot of like that underground shit. I really I take a lot of influences from a lot of places when I make like anything basically. So I fuck with that heavy, but that does remind me of that. But it's crazy when you're like talking like. It's crazy when you do meet people that are popular and like, what the fuck is going on in my life,
Yeah, like, no, I mean, the fact that I've gotten a comment from like one of my favorite producers and I have one of my favorite rappers on my album, I was like, okay, if I never make music again, I've achieved enough. I've achieved pretty much everything I want. Like, there are very few things that I could see myself doing in hip hop that would make me feel like more satisfied than what I've done so far. So,
absolutely, that's sick. That's sick as shit. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, man.
That's
it is.
Yeah, I know Zuki's cracking it up because he was trying to like get me to brag, but I'm not that type of person,
No, because the dude's nice. He just be like, I don't want to. I'm like, nah. I'm like, 4% of your power.
I get it. It's relatable. I try not to brag either. Honestly, when I meet new people, like it's really hard for me. Like I think going back to like the social shit, it's like it's really hard for me to kind of just introduce. Yeah, I'm a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I make YouTube videos. I'm like Obi-Wan. It's kind of like hard for me to do that because it's like, oh God, what do they fucking think?
Right.
Like will they see like what will they see the Alpha and Omega shit? Will they see the old shit? Will they see my weird Twitter account? What will they see? I'm scared. But
wait, this Obi-Wan? I thought that was Snake Plissken from Escape from New York.
No, it's like Obi-Wan.
I got you.
People have thought that it wasn't Lego Obi-Wan. People thought it was Jesus at one point.
Damn. Shout out Lego Jesus. Have they made a Lego Jesus minifig?
No, a Lego Jesus,
I think so.
Lego Jesus chain to go hard.
It
Though, I ain't
would-
gonna
it
lie.
would.
I have been called Lego Jesus. That's one of my nicknames. So even though it's a little bit funny because it started when I was in the Christian community, and I'm thinking, it's a little
Yeah,
blasphemous.
that's pretty
but
sacrilegious.
okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
get a Lego Jesus chain when you make it,
Oh my god,
bro. That
Dude,
yeah.
dude, I'll do like I'll blow up as Mass Boy X, and then I'll be on like what's that one Icebox? I'll be on
Yeah,
Icebox.
yeah, and you'll just have the
Yeah,
flooded out
Icebox.
minifig chain.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask them for the minifigure
Yeah,
chain.
yeah.
Oh man,
I'm gonna do that. I want the minifigure chain studded in silver.
wait, you going to Icebox and not Johnny?
Oh, yeah, you
Oh,
gotta go to
shit.
Johnny.
You gotta go to Johnny Dang, man. If you make it.
Yeah.
But Icebox is where Loden and Carson went. Opium.
Oh yeah, I
Opium.
forgot. You're.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's the
I
connection.
gotta join him.
Yeah,
When
that's
when's Master Boy getting signed to Opium, man?
Yeah.
When am I getting signed to Opium?
Yeah.
When am I getting signed to Opium? I do like real talk. How like all of Opium has like different like weird like style, almost like different. I don't want to say like alt, but some of them are like they cover like different styles.
Yeah.
You know, like Carti's like punk. Lone is like our friend Russell called him goth.
Yeah,
I would say he's like close to that. He's relatively, obviously they're not like truly like Black
but
Flag
he's kind of more in
but-
that vein. Yeah.
yeah, in that vein aesthetically. Yeah, Carti's punk. Lone is more goth. Ken Carson is more like pop punk.
Yeah, he's like kind of
Or
more like
R&B.
turn up, like party kind of vibe.
I know,
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
Teen
he
Act
takes
shit.
in-
Yeah.
He takes influence from like Green Day and shit.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Yeah.
Homicide Gang reminds me of Memphis rap. Weirdly enough, I don't know why, but they remind me of Memphis.
They do triplets and stuff. And they flow?
Like
Not really trip.
they
it's
probably
like-
like rap more than most of Opium.
Yeah, they do. They rap more than like over these like kind of like especially like a homicide lifestyle. The first song was it lifestyle? It's called life.
Well, it's because like they
Yeah.
have kind of more of a horror aesthetic, so that's where like a lot of the like
Yeah.
funk or Memphis
Oh.
connection would be too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Memphis,
exactly.
Yeah.
Got you.
I really liked how they cover like different aesthetics.
Definitely. Like, I mean, that's what any like solid label should do with its artists.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of
Yeah.
Cactus Jack.
Exactly. And isn't like Gabe signed to Opium too?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Gabe is like more like scene and rave.
Right.
I don't know how plugged in you are on like Gabe. I love Gabe.
Well, I know of just because like I watched like a lot of underground like hip hop channels like
Oh yeah.
who just cover
Yeah.
like broad variety of artists, but yeah.
Mm. You gotta like, I mean, like if you're into the underground, you gotta know who Gabe is.
Mhm.
I can't wait for like when he's dropping again. But anyways, I'm getting nerded out.
No, man. Like
No,
I was gonna say like because you mentioned Joey previously, and then like on Twitter you had mentioned Joey, and I was like, man, this guy talking about
Oh no,
movie.
I'm fucking like no, I'm like movie. No, like I'm plugged. I'm like really plugged into a lot of shit.
Yeah, that's dope.
So,
Nah, it's like
Hell
it's
yeah.
cool that like you tapped into like a lot of waves in the
Yeah.
underground, so that's sick.
hell yeah. Even though I don't know them, I just make the music and listen to a lot of them. But yeah, I love a lot of that shit, and I would love to like, music wise, push that forward
Mhm.
as an artistic musician. But yeah, either way, like fucking yeah, sick ass shit, sick.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Now, like before we wrap up, like for anyone who's listening to this who's making content themselves or like trying to grow their channel, like what would you say are a few things that like new content creators should focus on, things they should avoid, and like what's a bit of some Dumbsville wisdom for getting into YouTube itself?
My wisdom, and it's always going to be different for different people.
Yeah.
It's going to be different everywhere. Some people are, some people aren't. Some people are cut out for it. Some people don't really want to do it. Some people grow out of it. Shit happens. I'm not the end all be all analytical genius,
Mhm.
but I would say for newcomers, the big thing is to just express yourself first and foremost.
Mm.
Don't worry about like trying to make the best content, because that's going to happen the more you. It's gonna happen the more you grow into it.
Okay.
You should always aspire to make the best videos you can,
Right.
but don't try and overdo yourself. Make stuff that is true to you. Make stuff that is enjoyable. Make stuff that's entertaining. And try and find places that you can focus on that nobody has really done before. That's where my over editing comes from. It comes from me going, well, people haven't really done this before. I want to like be more like sort of like a I kind of view as my over editing style. I view as kind of like a grimy punk flair to my videos. So
like your videos are distinctive. Like they're very different than like a lot of people who cover similar content.
Exactly. And I want people to really embrace their own feels, or not feels, like more like their own aesthetic. You know what I mean?
Right.
It'll take you a bit to grow into it, and you'll be derivative a little bit for scope probably. But if you have a personality and you want to make videos, don't worry more about like who you're going to be than how other people are going to perceive you in that, because you're going to find your own audience the more you do it. Don't be afraid to take a bit of criticism firsthand. There will be eventually a time where you will be allowed to not take it. You will probably fail a lot of times. You'll make videos that don't perform well at all, but success is falling down 9 times and getting up 10. And most importantly, don't put all your eggs into one basket. Always find different avenues, and always find different things you want to do. Don't be afraid to embrace what you want to do. That's my advice.
That's
solid.
Yeah, that's very good advice, man. Like,
and balance your audio.
Balance your audio.
Balance your audio. Jesus Christ.
Easier said than done. Multiple takes is probably a good one too.
Yeah, that too. Oh, most importantly, if you make videos where you're like fucking one of those like niche franchise creators who just sits in front of a camera and talks about the latest leaks, come on, man. Have some spice in it. Add some spice in it. You know what I mean?
Like don't just sit in front of your merch wall, your Funko Pops.
Yeah, exactly. Your Funko Pops.
Funko Pops? No.
My Funko Pops.
My enormous amiibo collection.
Hey, amiibos and Funko Pops are NFTs you can hold.
Oh, and most importantly, this is advice that I've learned and that I failed at. Don't get a Twitter.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Mission failed for me.
Don't ever. Yeah, it failed for me too. Don't ever. It's tempting because I know you think of a tweet that'll be funny. Don't get it. It's not worth it.
Nah. Or if you do have a Twitter, don't make it your persona.
Don't use it. Don't ever use it.
Don't use it.
Or delete it. If you have a Twitter, delete it.
Damn. Well,
delete it.
I'm not taking that tip because Twitter's very funny to me. But the rest of them are very good tips.
I'm too far gone.
Yeah.
I'm
I
too
need
far
Twitter
gone.
to get through my job during the Bourne part.
Factually.
Go on Instagram. Go on any.
Instagram's even worse. Like Twitter, you can kind of sense.
Yeah, Instagram's just a bunch of advertisements pretending to be socials.
Yeah, but Instagram's funny though.
How so?
Yeah, how so?
I get a lot of like videos on my my page that are very edgy, and that's funny.
Sick.
See, but on Twitter, I just be scrolling down and you see like the funniest shit, the funniest take.
Yeah.
But it depends on what part of Twiter you go
to be fair, Zuki and I both occupy Black Twitter, which is
Black Twitter
is a minefield.
Black Twitter is
I've heard.
Yeah, people don't argue on there. It's just wacky.
Oh, I've heard Beatfox 15 say a few things about Black Twitter.
Yeah,
and he's white, which is the crazy part.
I know.
Crazy. Why would you say that shit? What the fuck?
It's the voice. It's very black passing. It actually isn't. I've heard him talk. It's
like how I'm gay passing.
Yeah, I like how you're gay passing. Yeah,
exactly.
Shout out Mango.
Shout out Neon Caffeine. Shout out Mango. Shout out Simple Flips. Shout out NordVPN.
Hell yeah. We're not getting that sponsorship yet. I got fucking 600 subs, but someday.
That's the goal. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Well,
someday I'll be able to get Manscaped for free. That's the ultimate end game.
you don't even
my
want
ball.
the money. It's like, just give me the razor. I got shave down here.
Yeah. I don't have the money. I just want it for free.
I just sent me one. I don't need the money. So
I don't need the money, but I do need the razor.
Dubs, anything you want to plug before we wrap up, man?
Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my socials, I guess. Listen to my music if you want. Thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Yeah, Massboy X. Yeah. I don't know if you want to plug in the description, but it would help. But
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Big shit in the making. Thanks for having me on.
Always.
It was a great ass interview. Love doing the interview. It's funny as fuck.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, no, thanks for being
Yeah,
with us,
no, we
Hell yeah,
both of
hell
us
yeah.
really appreciate it. This has been kind of a long time coming, but like,
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
We both fuck with you
Yeah.
heavy, so we appreciate you
Hell
coming
yeah,
on.
I appreciate it. Shout out my fans. Shout out to BeatFox15. Hope you get better. He's sorry for your cancer diagnosis. Rest in peace.
This man.
But
We're gonna have him on again sometime soon.
Yeah, we're gonna have Beat.
Yeah.
if I have time. But fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
No,
Well,
we appreciate you for reaching out, for being with us though. Like, this has been a good experience. Like,
Hell yeah, I appreciate it.
I know I was fucking with Dumbsville when I seen that picture of Lucky he posted. I'm like, he knows
yeah,
who Lucky
Lucky.
is.
yeah.
You seen the one where it's like Lucky at Wings? I'll have to send you that one after I leave.
Wow, Lucky eating wings.
Lucky at Wingstop. Some
Dude.
so fucking funny.
The Rick Ross on Wingstop, so the employees are feeling twice as bad because it's like they ran by an obese black man, then there's another obese black man on lean, walking more lemon pepper wings and ranch dressing.
Man, he was just mainlining that shit. That was why Rick Ross bought it.
We are in that lucky area. We are in the lucky zone.
Oh god, yeah, that's probably the point to cut it off if we're talking about Lucky. Free wave, man.
Yeah, free wave 3.
Zuki, thank you always. Greatly appreciate you being on as usual. And yeah, definitely subscribe to Dumbsville. Subscribe to all of his socials. Hit up the Patreon. He needs money apparently. I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, he needs money. He's trying to get the Dumbsville Lego piece chain.
Factually.
Every step he donate gets towards that.
I'm trying to get myself a little alt biddy, and I need like some money.
We need a Gothsville. We gotta get a Gothsville for Dumbsville.
Gotta get a Gothsville for Dumbsville's trying to get that dummy. We need help.
Factually.
Please donate.
True.
All right, peace, y'all. Greatly appreciate you. We out. Bye-bye.